not on any screen that we can see, and Spencer's gonna lose his ever-loving mind.
Yeah, kind of already did.
Yeah, he did.
I had to borrow a pair of somebody else's underwear already, so...
He is happy because he already saw the trailer for the Snyder Cut. So
I did.
he can at least concentrate on what we're talking about right now.
Well, I mean, you two were right over my shoulders, too, but...
Yeah, but you were the one squealing.
Yes, definitely was.
So, if you are new to the show, Dime Comic Bros podcast, we are a couple of poor boys that really enjoy comics and anything comic booky. So we like to stretch our dollar and buy books on sale and share them with each other so that we're not spending thousands and thousands of dollars every year. So that's why we are called Dime Comic Book instead of $100 Comic Book Podcast.
Yeah.
Sir. So on to the news.
Alrighty, so gonna start off with an article from thehollywoodreporter.com. Quote, recent Warner Media layoffs have affected a significant number of high-level figures at comic book powerhouse DC, multiple sources tell The Hollywood Reporter. Among those said to be losing their positions are Editor-in-Chief Bob Harris, Senior VP of Publishing Strategy and Support Services Hank Canals, VP of Marketing and Creative Services Jonah Wayland, VP Global Publishing Initiatives and Digital Strategy Bobby Chase, Senior Story Editor Brian Cunningham, and Executive Editor Mark Doyle, who oversaw the rollout of the Black Label graphic novels. Jim Lee remains the CCO. Roughly one-third of DC's editorial ranks are being laid off, according to sources. Insiders also say that the majority of staff of the streaming service DC Universe have been laid off, a move that has been widely expected as Warner Media shifts its focus to new streaming service HBO Max. DC Universe was dead on arrival as soon as the AT&T merger happened, said one source. End quote. So this sucks.
Yeah.
Everybody saw it coming, though.
Oh, yeah.
I remember about a week ago, like, every DC Universe show that's still on DC Universe started taking DC Universe off of their marketing, like, on their social media accounts. It just went to DC's Titans or whatever.
Right.
We kind of all knew that was going to happen, at least with DC Universe kind of rolling into HBO Max, but the fact that so much of the publishing division got cut is a little scary.
Right, because that's where all the comic stories come from, where, you know, hype for movies and games and whatever else, it's based off of comic book ideas, so...
Right, there's definitely a lot of worry going on, like, hey, are they just gonna keep the characters and then kill the comics, which... Well, we do have another later piece of news which says that they're not doing that, but still kind of a scary prospect of how much the pandemic is affecting things on top of the AT&T merger with Warner Media, which for some people, meaning the Snyder cult of which I'm a part, saw it as a really good thing because then you're taking more control away from WB Pictures, but there's definitely some negatives here with AT&T taking over, seemingly restructuring things a bit. Colin, do you have any thoughts on this?
Not much. not much, really. I don't know. I just kind of don't give a shit, really.
Wow.
If shit's gonna go to HBO Max and whatever, I guess. I've never had DC, like the DC Universe streaming services. So.
But I mean, aside from
the only one that had DC membership.
yeah,
that
you're
is
the
true.
only one that wanted to waste your money on that.
Yep. But I mean, that's part of it, but I think that the bigger part is the fact that, like, one-third of DC's editorial staff, like, the book editors got screwed over.
Yeah.
Because something I tweeted out and mentioned to you guys in the group chat at, like, 3 in the morning was, I finally realized, like, how the DC continuity is working now, which sounds dumb because it's not that complicated, but I went and looked through all the...
Stupid.
I think it is
I went,
complicated.
like, some of it's not that hard to comprehend, but I went through, like, all the major events of the past decade, basically since Flashpoint, and I reread some of them, and I went through God knows how many wiki articles, and it actually makes sense now. I can tell you how they rolled the New 52 into Rebirth, and why the Rebirth thing isn't actually a crisis, and why Convergences still suck. But, like, I get it. So the editors deserve a big-ass raise, and instead, they got canned right before there's a big DC event celebrating, you know, DC. That sucks.
Right.
Yep. have another article kind of expanding on this from GamesRadar.com. Quote, following the cancellations of Batgirl, Batman and the Outsiders, and Justice League Odyssey in October, more DC titles are scheduled to get the axe in November. DC's just released November solicitations reveal that Teen Titans, Justice League, Suicide Squad, Hawkman, and John Constantine Hellblazer are all ending in November, with a cryptic message about Aquaman that makes the title's fate questionable, end quote. End result, that's like 20% of their titles.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Recognize pretty much everyone but John Constantine Hellblazer.
So good.
Really?
Yeah, I loved Hellblazer. Well, I mean, I read the original ones, like the original Sin, and then I tried reading the second omnibus or trade, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I couldn't. The colors were too much. I was like barfing on my ass. It was just like.
When I went through Target the other day and I was waiting for some car repairs to get finished and I had a couple of bucks to blow and there's a big sale going on, so I picked up a few things. I kept seeing a copy of Constantine City of Demons that was on sale for like $10 and I very nearly got you a copy. And then I convinced myself not to spend money on your ass. But, you know, such is life.
Damn, you don't love me enough, huh?
You don't want to spend money on his comics. You'll spend money on his ass.
That is correct.
This is true.
Back to the news.
So the kind of the end of this little mini large story. So this is another article from Nerdist.com. Quote, in an in-depth interview with The Hollywood Reporter, which the original Hollywood Reporter article was difficult to find, and it wasn't clear the way they wrote it up, hence why I used a different source. DC's CCO, Jim Lee, revealed what the future holds for the publisher. And yes, it still includes publishing comic books monthly. Lee assured fans that there are no plans to stop publishing comics despite rumors. Lee said that the comics line is still the cornerstone of everything we do. He added, I don't think they want to stop us from publishing comics. Comics serve a lot of different purposes, and one of them is a great way to incubate ideas and creating the next great franchises.
I really like that he says incubate ideas. Like, if they have some crazy-ass idea to try, they're going to throw it on a comic book instead of on the silver screen. So
Yeah, which makes sense, but it's also, you can definitely tell he's trying to cover his ass at the same time. Perhaps the biggest news is that one that most saw coming. DC Universe content is heading to HBO Max. Lee confirmed that original content that is on DCU is migrating to HBO Max. That means in addition to Doom Patrol and Harley Quinn, Young Justice and Titans will move to the new platform as well. Several new DC series have already been announced for the streamer, including a Green Lantern series. Lee suggests that the current DC Universe app is transforming and will likely stay the virtual home for thousands of comics. End quote.
Which really sucks. Just get rid of your freaking comic book membership and put it on Comixology already.
Yes, but also no, because Comixology Unlimited is cool if you want to like kind of read little bits of everything, but it doesn't have the big backlog and you still have to pay for the individual books. You go on DC Universe, it's all of it for free, which is really freaking cool.
Well,
Meaning the single gate to get in, that's like $7 a month. They have like all the way back to like Golden Age stuff. If it's been scanned and slightly remastered, it's on that service. It's ridiculous.
Damn, and they're getting rid of this?
No, they're keeping the comics part of it, but all of the original content is moving, and it sounds like they're going to be taking off all of the video aspects.
That's fine.
Which I believe...
But that's just going to go to HBO Max.
All the video stuff is moving to HBO Max, but they're going to keep DC Universe as like a comic app.
Yeah, no, I got that.
Something along those lines.
So there's nothing really changing. It's just that they're just going... It just means that now I don't have to pay for another thing because I already have HBO Max with you.
Yes, because we share.
Sharing is caring.
Yes. It sounds... more so, it's the fact that so much of their staff had to get laid off, because now they're not producing original content. So basically, like, the DC Universe studio, or whatever you want to call it, got shut down, and then part of it got rolled into HBO Max. They're not keeping all the staff. There's still a lot of staff getting laid off, too. But it does sound... I might be totally wrong. I think Marvel had something similar to this a few years back. They had just their comic service. I think...
it is still a thing.
It is still a thing?
Yeah.
I thought they rolled it into Comixology and just went, screw it, we can't afford to keep this up a couple of years ago. I might be totally wrong. But I would have sworn there was something like that happened, and it just wasn't sustainable for them.
Right. Yeah, Marvel Unlimited Comics. Sign up for your free trial. Unlock the Marvel Universe.
Interesting.
Marvel
I'd be willing to bet that their memberships are about $5 a month. So I mean, if DC Universe drops their subscription price, which I think at the moment is between $8 and $12, once they finish revamping it and go to just the comic service, if it's like $4 or $5 a month, I'll probably go back and get another subscription because that's a lot of free books. That's a lot of stuff.
For Marvel, because you're such a DC fanboy, you get a 7-day free trial, and then you get with access to over 27,000 digital comics, and then it's $10 a month, like you predicted.
$10. That's a little more than I expected, but that's not horrible.
For all those comics.
Yeah, that's not horrible.
Honestly, I like going out and buying comics.
Same. It's just the sense of like it. Right, like I set aside some money, so I'll buy like a book or two like each paycheck, so I don't just go crazy. But also,
I just go crazy.
yeah, I try really hard not to do that because I'd be even more broke than I am now.
Yeah.
But if it means I pay, like $10, $15 a month to have a lot of digital comics for like reading at work or like bumping around, little bits here and there, like I don't know, a bus stop or whatever.
Right.
That's worth it. Just to get through, especially new stuff that I don't necessarily want to buy a copy of, like do a test run, see if I like it before I go buy it. Alrighty, moving on to the next piece of news. Big surprise, it's Spencer having a piece of news about Ray Fisher's Twitter.
Oh my gosh.
See, but this stuff is actually important. I wouldn't just be covering it if it was like other stuff. It's not the fact that it's Snyder Cut related, it's the fact that it's like Hollywood abuse. It's kind of good. Well, it's good that it's getting coverage. Sure.
Send it.
Yeah, it's good.
So this was sent out on August 12th. During the LA reshoots for Justice League, Jeff Johns summoned me to his office to belittle and admonish my and my agents' attempts to take grievances up the proper chain of command. He then made a thinly veiled threat to my career. This behavior cannot continue. A is greater than E. Accountability is greater than entertainment. End quote. So, yeah. It's like a tagline. It's not necessarily a hashtag that's been going with it, but it's like the thing that's on the tweets. That's
kind of his point of this whole campaign.
Right, and then this one, I remember the next couple of days, meaning like last week, people were like, wait a minute, this took place in LA, and then went and looked up specific labor laws, and that's illegal. The way that he went about it, because if they were, if Ray Fisher and his agent were doing what they said and going up the proper chain of command to report things or to put in suggestions or whatever, and they were belittled and brought in privately to go over why they can't do that, that is illegal. I don't remember the specific reasoning behind it and exactly how it works, but people went and did research into LA law. And the fact that he included it was in Los Angeles seems very right. So we figure it out. It's like, oh, that's very illegal. And I do have a follow-up to that, which I believe came out yesterday or the day before that. It was pretty recently. It's 2 tweets. After 5 weeks of interviews with various cast/crew, Warner Media has officially launched an independent third-party investigation to get to the heart of the toxic and abusive work environment created during Justice League reshoots. This is a massive step forward. I believe this investigation will show that Jeff Johns, Joss Whedon, John Berg, and others grossly abused their power during the uncertainty of AT&T's merger with Time Warner. Thank you, Warner Media and AT&T, for making strides to ensure a safer workplace for all. Accountability is greater than entertainment. And that was the most updated thing, and I would be assuming we're not going to hear about that for a little while. Obviously, it's not going to get brought up at Fandom, because that's not the place for this.
Right.
No.
And obviously, he's classy enough not to be stupid and do that. But something that was a couple of weeks ago, Joss Whedon actually had a panel at Comic-Con, and then these allegations started coming out really bad, and then Comic-Con quietly canceled his panel. That was pretty funny. It's like, as Joss Whedon is basically getting canceled, Joss that's happening. And then there's Justice Con, which is literally a different version of SnyderCon. It's like, that's funny. Huh.
Get pegged.
Probably just a coincidence.
Oh, no, definitely just a coincidence. Yeah, so that's improvement. Hopefully it goes somewhere. The fact that it seems to believe it's very integral to the fact that it was during the merger time is probably important, which would make sense. If you're going to, throw off the power dynamics and try to take advantage of a situation, doing it when your company is about to get bought out by an even bigger company, it makes sense.
It also makes sense that we're not going to hear anything about this.
Yeah, if it's going to, now it's an official legal investigation.
Yeah, it's an investigation, so we're not going to hear about it.
Yeah, and then pretty right, and it I don't think he's gonna keep bringing it up and kind of I don't want to say bringing down the mood for the Snyder Cut coming out, but like it's integral to his career because this was gonna be his big breakout role, and in a sense, it kind of is in a very different way. So you'd think he was not gonna try to be like, hey, can we keep talking about all this negative crap? To an extent, kind of putting it behind them now that the proper authorities have been involved. Colin, do you have any thoughts?
Get pegged, Joss.
Okay, I don't disagree. Alrighty, so the only piece of actual Snyder Cut news this week, via
As he stares at me.
Via 2 Justice League teasers before DC Fandom, Zack Snyder confirmed his version of Justice League releasing in 2021 is Justice League: The Snyder Cut. This is, at least for me, reminiscent of Superman 2: The Donner Cut, which is a somewhat similar situation of Superman 2 got chopped up into bits, and part of the movie was refilmed with another director. And then, like, I think it was maybe 5 or 6 years ago, they finally pieced together the original version.
History repeats itself.
Yeah. It's also it seems to be because of legal red tape with WB and HBO Max and, like, you know, slapping his name in front of a movie. Understandable why there's some red tape there. So this wasn't, like, a big deal. It was just that, like, the hashtags attached to the videos changed. It went from Zack Snyder's Justice League or Release the Snyder Cut to The Snyder Cut.
I like it.
It's
I really
clean.
like it.
Right, because you don't want to go way back. I remember everybody's like, maybe it would just be, you know, Justice League the Ultimate Edition, which is what happened with 2 of his other movies when there's a quote-unquote director's cut, meaning
Right.
the actual version of the movie.
Right.
But this one's so much larger than that doing just the ultimate version of this movie would be disingenuous. So calling it an entirely separate cut while keeping the original name is probably a good avenue to go. It'll look better on a movie box because you know they're going to release it physically, and I'm going to buy 10 copies.
Of course.
And also, that's what the people ask for is the Snyder Cut.
Mhm.
So give the
It's
people
on
what
the
they want.
nose, and it's beautiful.
There's a tear in your eye.
Yeah, probably. All right, moving on to the next one. So this one, I also put into the group chat and squealed. From VanityFair.com. Ben Affleck is set to return in Andy Muschietti's The Flash movie, revealed in an exclusive interview with Vanity Fair. Affleck got the script at the end of last week and agreed this week to join the project. Muschietti said that it wouldn't work as well for The Flash to venture into the company of other Batmen without having Affleck as the starting point. Quote, he's the baseline. He's part of that unaltered state before we jump into Barry's adventure, end quote, the director said. There's a familiarity there. Affleck's Batman has a dichotomy that is very strong, which is his masculinity, because of the way he looks and the imposing figure that he has and his jawline, but he's also very vulnerable, Muschietti said in this interview. He knows how to deliver from the inside out, that vulnerability. He just needs a story that allows him to bring that contrast, that balance, end quote. And he also talked about the fact that, you know, both their moms died, and I was expecting a Martha joke in there, not gonna lie. You can definitely tell there's a little bit in that where he's like, he just needs a story that allows for balance. It's a subtle jab, but it's not entirely wrong.
So this is the same movie.
That has Michael Keaton in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get that.
Whoa.
Colin's a little slow.
So
Yeah,
is Christian
sorry,
Bale
I'm-
gonna be
No,
in it too?
no,
Hey, thank
no,
God not.
no, hell no,
And
no.
what about bat nipples? Like, and
Okay, if they
God.
have like a weird cameo, but if we have the Batfleck soup with nipples, I'll be okay with that. That would be
Just trying to
funny.
have Michael Keaton touching his nipples.
I mean, yeah. So they're definitely going less so of a Flashpoint and more of a multiverse story, which the Flashpoint story is a multiverse story, but it's more like we had the original timeline, and then I screwed it up, and we have the altered timeline, and then we have the merger of the two. This one sounds like they're going very much so into basically what Crisis on Infinite Earths did back in 2019, of like everything live action is kind of connected.
so I have
Ben is back, bitches! Anyway.
I had no idea what words came out of your mouth. I just know it was.
I said-
he said Ben is back, bitches.
Oh, my Ben Daddy.
I
Daddy.
actually kind of squealed out loud for real when this happened. Because I
like
You
that.
squeal out loud every
yeah,
time.
no, okay. Sometimes, yeah, but like
Is
it's a
it on
joke.
Here, or am I like thinking about Ben Affleck?
It's just Ben Daddy.
No, it's
Ben
just
Daddy.
So with all these Batman coming back though, I I have this little whisper in the back of my head saying, they saw Spider-Verse and said, oh, we want some of that.
Oh, we
That's
want some of
definitely a sense of that. I didn't.
I get it. It's Flashpoint. It's been out for a while.
Yeah.
It's been covered.
I didn't include it, but he did. Most of the interview was emphasizing this is a Flash story. It's very much a Flash emotional story about Flash and him altering his past.
But we just have 2 Batmen in it.
But also Batman.
Of course, it's gonna be Batman.
Right. So, whether or not this means he's gonna continue again, which my gut says no. Like, unless Zach somehow comes back, which I don't think is gonna happen.
I think Ben will probably just do like small roles.
I think that's what it is like so people keep saying it's like a Han Solo thing, like, I'll come back so you can write me out. Whether it means that the continuity gets changed or he dies or whatever, because he was supposed to die in Justice League 2 or 3, like, if they merge the plans around a little bit, it could work. And it's just glad that it's not a big, I mean, it's an important role, but it's not like a big role. It doesn't seem like they're marketing it as like, ew, it's gonna be a buddy cop movie. It's still a Flash movie, but Ben Affleck is definitely a large part of it. Moving on to the next piece of news, more Batman stuff. Matt Reeves released the official logo and teaser poster for The Batman. The poster is a teaser for the Batman panel at DC Fandom and is from artist Jim Lee, and both the logo and poster continue the red and black color scheme of the movie that we've been seeing so far in every little tidbit. And they also officially patented the logo, like, patented, is it trademark or copyright? I can't remember which one's which. That's funny. Robot, bat and bat. Anyway, so they're definitely going with like a red, white, and black aesthetic, and that's awesome.
Sorry, that was my phone.
Colin, put your phone on silent.
Jacob's just looking at me and I can't look at him. Yeah, so now the bat symbol has ears.
Yeah, it's basically the whatever sort of gadget the bat symbol is on his chest, it's like that, and it has little ears in it. It looks really cool. It's really angular and jagged, and it's asymmetrical. It's asymmetrical, which makes me angry, but it means I like it, because it looks I don't remember exactly. It's not quite lined up. Like,
you mean the picture?
No, I mean like the physical thing that's on his chest, and thusly the logo isn't exactly symmetrical. And so it's supposed to be.
I love that.
It's asymmetrical, but it's artistic, and it looks great.
That's literally just
it's simple.
Batman's head from the comics. That's not
pretty much
like Robert Pattinson's. That's like the comic one that we've always seen for years.
Yeah, the teaser poster is really good because it's done by Jim Lee, and it's all in red and black, and it looks sexy as hell.
Colin and I are looking at it right now.
It's so good.
I mean, Jim Lee's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I can see why people freak out over him so much.
Yeah.
But like, I could care less.
Yes.
You know whose art style I love?
No.
Besides Mike
No.
Mignola.
No.
Shut up. Besides Mike Mignola, I'm talking about I don't know what his name is, but the guy whoever did the art for White Knight.
Sean Murphy.
Yeah, dude.
He did all of it himself.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. No, that stuff's great.
That's just awesome.
I love how it blends the gothic aesthetic with like the animated series. It's like really edgy animated series.
It's literally animated series.
Anywho, back on topic. I like the fact that they're going with the red and black instead of just like the red, the white and black or the gray, whatever. So last little bit of actually no, not the last bit of news. My bad. So DC Fandom has been split into 2 events as of like 2 days ago. Hall of Heroes is on August 22nd, which is right when we're recording this. Like half of the event is over. Hence why I've seen the Snyder Cut trailer, but we're not going to cover the full event yet. And the Multiverse is on September 12th. That is like all of the cartoon shows and the kids stuff and like more fan-oriented things. They seem to have...
Yes.
No, I mean like the kids events and
that's what I
that's what I want.
Okay. Yeah, so they split it up, so basically all of the big stuff is happening now. Just as a small note, while I've been watching it throughout the day, it makes sense with how it's flowing. It's definitely a good idea that they split it up. It gives it good space to breathe. So this is a bit of a read, bear with me. From entertainmentweekly.com. Quote, like many people during the coronavirus pandemic, Ruby Rose took time to do some introspection, and after mulling things over, she decided there were several reasons for her to depart her lead role on the CW's Batwoman. When the actress announced that she was opting out of a second season in mid-May, she said that she hadn't come to the decision lightly, but did not go into detail about the reasoning behind her exit. Now Rose tells EW exclusively about the challenges she faced on Batwoman, including needing back surgery following an onset incident in 2019. She also reiterated that she's proud of the series and how it added to the conversation about the importance of LGBTQ representation on TV. Being the lead of a superhero show is tough. Being the lead in anything is tough, Rose, who hadn't discovered the full extent of her injuries until shooting the film The Doorman, tells EW. But I think in that particular instance, it was a lot more difficult because I was still recovering from my surgery. I had my surgery, and then 10 days later I went to work, which maybe wasn't the best idea. That's an understatement. Yeah. Most people take about a month or 3 off before they return to work, so it was definitely made more difficult by that. But as far as being a lead in a film or a show, regardless if it's action or if it's emotional, in whatever way, it's taxing. End quote. So I don't think any of us really enjoy most of the CW content, and definitely not this show, but this still does kind of stink. Another piece of news, Avatar: The Last Airbender's creators have exited the live-action Netflix adaptation, stating whatever happens on screen will not be what they intended.
I heard about this.
Yeah.
And I also heard it's the same thing as what happened with the live-action movie.
That doesn't exist.
Right.
Doesn't exist.
Right.
Yeah,
the same thing happened.
There is no Avatar movie in Ba Sing Se.
Studio took control
pretty much
letting the writers have it.
Yeah,
so
one of
they
the
backed out of that too and
yeah.
said, F this thing.
One of the creators was really diplomatic about it, and the other one's like, nah, this sucks. You guys just pushed us out after getting our blessing. You guys suck.
If I get another and another Zuko where I can't see his scar and his hair's not looking like shit, I am going to lose my mind.
I'm actually with Colin on that. Like, I'm not the biggest Avatar fan, but I appreciate its ridiculously high level of quality. I like it for those reasons. It's just not, like, my thing.
So,
I love Avatar: The Last Airbender.
This thing is going to immediately go down the...
Yeah.
Like, it's... Even if they do it well, it's going to be probably mediocre. Because there were rumors after this that they wanted to lean more adult and have more romantic stuff, and it's like...
What?
They're fucking 14 and 15.
Right. Exactly.
Aang is 12 years old.
That's that exactly.
Dude, okay, if this is
wait. Does this mean that they're turning it into hentai?
Oh my gosh.
Hentai is animated.
See, that's what I like.
You just mean Japanese porn.
Oh, I see.
Anywho,
right.
They're gonna blur out all the dicks. See, that, like, I don't even mind we're gonna take it a little more seriously, like, I don't mind that, but it's the fact that because, like, it was very it was very well balanced, and it took itself seriously, but it had fun with it. Right. Like, but it still approached a lot of very adult themes that, like, a big thing, it was all about slavery, imperialism, freaking cultural appropriation, it was all over it, but they still kind of had fun with it, and they were still mostly child characters. And they showed it's like, hey, kids aren't stupid, and also the adults aren't, all just assholes either. Because Uncle Iroh is dad.
Dude, Uncle Iroh is the best.
Everybody knows Uncle Iroh is the best. I think the most unanimous decision via the internet was, why do you even really need to make another one?
Yeah.
It's like, I understand wanting to make a live-action version of a lot of other things, but it was so perfect because it was so, like, diet anime kids content. That was why it worked.
It's American anime, and American anime is great. Whoever says that American anime isn't anime, you, because anime is anime, okay? So shut the up.
So here's my take. I don't understand.
No, it's not anime.
Yes, it is.
Naruto is art. Sorry, I have to reference
art.
Vine. I'm stuck in the past.
Here is my take. I don't understand why Netflix had to do a live-action version of Avatar when they have their own anime department that keeps out shows that are just mediocre.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to boost your anime numbers, stick with anime and make it good. Like,
they were looking for another Witcher, because Netflix is losing the streaming war right now, like, really bad. They're not doing well.
Okay, so one of my favorite animes and one of the first ones I ever watched was Death Note.
Yes.
And then when I heard that Netflix was
it's so bad.
Once I heard that Netflix was doing one of those when it first came out, I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be so cool. Then I thought it was a f***ing movie. I was like, okay, maybe it'll be good. Then it was in Seattle. Bro, they ruined Death Note, and they're gonna ruin Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I'm gonna just shit my pants.
Ba Sing Se?
Alright, hang on.
Transition.
Oh my gosh, I just...
What'd you do?
I'm gonna freaking move my...
What'd you do?
I don't think it was recording this mic.
For how long?
The whole freaking thing. It's alright. We'll just keep going.
All of news?
What?
It's alright.
Is it usable?
I don't know.
Oh god. Okay, we have 2 more pieces of news. Jared Leto confirmed via his Instagram that he will be starring in the soon-into-production 3rd Tron film, subtitled Ares. I don't know if I'm the only one who loves Tron, but I love Tron,
Wait,
and
there
this
was
is great.
There was a second one?
Yes, Tron Legacy. Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was like a first one and like reboot, and then
No, it's a sequel.
To the one that came out in like way too freaking long
Late
ago.
70s, I believe.
I didn't know that was a
60s.
movie. I didn't know they made that a movie.
Yeah.
No.
I want to
sucks.
watch Blade Runner 2049 now.
I also do want to do that, but also I want to watch Tron. I love Tron. I love Tron Legacy way too much. I've been waiting for this sequel for a while. I'm slightly confused why they're not, just using the cast they already had before. Why do you need Jared Leto to head this movie? But more so, they found a director who is willing to deal with Jared Leto's antics. That's impressive. Anywho, this isn't necessarily. This was close enough in region that I thought I'd mention it because I really love Tron, and this is kind of relevant. Anywho, next topic, which is something that nobody else cares about, probably except me. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 7, the finale aired last week, which wraps up neatly and semi-confirms Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. exists in the MCU's multiverse, but still on a diverted timeline somewhere along, but it's now confirmed to have the same form of time travel as the MCU. So I was actually kind of pleased with this. I wish they had tied it up in a nicer bow, but it seems like the showrunners did the best that they could with the information they had, so they slightly retrofitted their time travel to work in the same way as the stuff in Endgame does. So that's cool. It's still in a different timeline, because one of their characters is now the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. I liked it. The effects were really good for a very time travel-y episode, so... Yeah, I'm the only one who gives a shit.
Yeah, you're the only one that gives a shit.
Fine! I'm gonna go cry about it. That's the end of the news. So, what have we been reading? Colin, what have you been reading?
Round 1!
Okay, let me get my notes. So, I've been reading our main topic. I read that in a couple of nights. But I'll skip over that until we actually talk about the main topic. But what I have been reading, other than that, is the second volume of I've been reading the second volume of Moon Knight's.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah, no, I got it a while ago, but I didn't get the third one, but I got the second one and I started reading it, and I love how the art style is going about stuff, because it's weird. It's digital, obviously, but
art.
What they did with a couple of comic issues with the trade is that all the panels are taken from camera perspective, so a phone or these little drones that Moon Knight has with him, because he's super technology based since he's working alone, refuses to work with anyone. So far it's really cool, and there's a lot of changes and world building and shit like that, so I'm really enjoying that.
I'm gonna borrow these books off of you once you finish collecting them.
Definitely. I did start reading
Wait, no.
Yeah.
We're only doing one at a time. We gotta go roundabout.
Fine.
Jacob, what have you been reading, my boy?
Alright, so close your eyes as I tell you a tale.
He's gonna touch me.
Nope. You're on the other side of the table.
Hold my hand. I'm scared of the dark.
I have... Alright, open your eyes, sorry. I have this much of a paragraph to read to you guys.
Wow.
So, close your eyes, and I'll tell you a tale.
Hold my hand. I'm scared.
We open with a small village, where a wise old wizard finds the company of two pretty much nobodies. He eventually tells one of them that he's the chosen one, that they're oblivious to the world ending outside of their, little hometown world, and that they need to go on a quest to save the world. The second guy relentlessly sticks to the chosen one on this quest. The next morning, the wise old wizard is gone, and he left a note saying, "Meet me here at this time." It's 2 weeks or something. because I don't want to recap like everything that happens. Here's a list of events that happens in the story. They get to the inn, and the wizard isn't there. They pick up a ranger to help them, keep going on their quest. They're saved from a bad situation and brought to a nearby elvish city where they meet the wizard, and then they have a conference to create a company of travelers to go with the Chosen One to his destination to help prevent the end of the world. The Chosen One gets poisoned on their travels and is rushed to a nearby city to be brought to the magical healers. What book do you think I was reading?
It wasn't Lord of the Rings because it sounds exactly like Fellowship, which means that's the joke, is that it's a ripoff, isn't it?
Why do you have to kill my joke?
Oh. Because I'm smart.
Oh, it's a ripoff?
What is it?
What do you think I was reading?
Fuck that I know.
It sounded literally beat for beat like Fellowship.
Of course you would know that.
Yeah.
So, I was reading The Sword of Shannara by Terry Brooks.
Kind of rings a bell.
Sword of Shannara. That sounds cool.
Or Shannara, as the freaking...
Shannara,
the
That kind of rings a
freaking
bell.
guy reading the book kept saying it. It's like, no, it's... I don't know. It's not Shannara, it's Shannara.
Is it enjoyable aside from having the same plot
it's a
structure?
legit
Drove
book.
me freaking crazy how it was pretty much plagiarism, so I didn't finish it. I
Ouch.
only got about halfway through. And I'm like,
sucks.
F this. I'm
Did you
done.
burn it?
No, I gave it away.
I feel like we should probably collect things and like once a month, whatever bad shit we've watched or read, we should burn.
Yes.
Meaning
That
we're gonna
sounds
buy every
destructive.
single copy of Justice League 2017 and we're gonna burn them all.
Yes.
We should make it a part of the show where it's just like the sound of a turd dropping in a toilet. And, I don't know. Like,
You should find one of those effects and use it.
easy. So yeah, the book is about, I don't know, 2.5, 3 inches thick,
Ooh.
and
That's rough.
I got maybe halfway through and I
Ugh.
just couldn't stand it
That's
because
bad.
I don't understand how it wasn't plagiarism.
The main character's name was Frobo.
Probably.
Frobo sagging balls.
That's rough.
So it was pretty frustrating.
That sucks.
I'm sure I'm gonna get a lot of hate mail
Damn,
from.
that was a waste
Dude,
of
we
your
don't even
time.
get real mail. We don't get regular email or mail.
Well-
We're not gonna get hate mail.
We're going big this week, so
Don't spoil the announcement.
freaking first episode. I'm
I
shitting
hate-
on
I-
an established
it's-
series.
It's the most likely I'm gonna get hate mail from like my mom or anybody else. Like,
Please
why
send
you
hate mail. I want hate mail. Just like give us anything.
any
Please
interaction
send
you
hate
can
mail.
give us.
Please
whether
hate me.
It's a big old thumbs up or you hit that subscribe button. Please kill me.
We sound like
Anything
me
like-
talking to my girlfriend. Please tell me you hate me.
Do we need to talk about this in private? Do you need help?
Not yet.
Okay.
All right,
Nice.
Spencer, your turn.
So I continued reading Thor: God of Thunder. I finished the second half of that series. So it's 14 issues published from 2013 to 2014. Still written by Jason Aaron. Various artists from Nick Klein to Ron Garney. And Isad Ribic came back again for the last couple of issues. So it's more fun and light compared to the first couple of trades, which was very epic and serious. It takes a bit of a break. It goes over stuff with the Dark Elves. The chemistry between the characters is really good. You can definitely tell that this was when Thor: The Dark World was coming out, and they wanted a Dark Elf tie-in because it's
They're trying to make it boring, like the movie.
no, because
actually like
Malekith
that
is
movie.
Malekith is basically Thor's Joker. Like, he's a fucking goofball. He's a psychopath, and that's one of the reasons why the movie sucks is because they made him boring. He's not stoic. He's a psychopath. Anyways, so it was a cool art. It's less complex. There's more stuff that kind of adds into the overall themes that's building up. There's a bit more Galactus stuff. And then right at the end, it goes back and forth between old Thor again, who's defeating Galactus in the future, and
Oh right, this is like that Thor run with like the 3 different Thors, right?
yeah. Well, it's
That's
after
cool.
that, but yeah.
That's still cool.
I like how they ran parallel stories. One of them was
Didn't you say it was Superman you were reading?
No, he said Thor.
You're
Dude,
Wow.
I
was
went and
tripping.
I got up and walked away, and I
was
knew exactly
tripping
what was still
wicked.
going on.
Holy crap.
Damn.
Anywho,
You can have the dunce cap now.
a couple.
Okay.
You can tell that they were trying to do some tie-in stuff, but it was still good. And then the ending wrapped it back up into the epic tone. So that was cool. I liked that. and that's the end of the God of Thunder line, which is the first of the like 8 lines of comics that make up the epic saga of Jason Aaron and his massive Thor obsession. Colin, back to you, boy.
I realized that like that's the only thing I was reading. I was gonna say Dark Victory, but I picked it up.
Fatality.
Not my fault. I have to do school. I hate it. Anyway.
Colin got knocked down on round 2. That's rough.
Yeah, dude. I mean, Moon Knight was pretty cool. I'll get back to you guys next time about Dark Victory.
Noise. Jacob, what else have you been reading?
You knocked out too? Oh, dude, he's knocked out.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
it's been busy.
I haven't been back to Ghost in the Shell, even though it's in my bathroom as bathroom reading. Like, it's just, I keep going a bit.
Have you not been pooping enough?
No.
We should get you some Pepto.
I've been
it's really
at
about
work.
pooping long enough.
I've been pooping at work. It sucks. I don't want to poop at work. I want to poop on my own personal throne with my reading material right there, and I can't. My body's like, F you, I'm going to go now.
Dude, I can't.
5 o'clock in the morning.
I can't put comics in the bathroom because I feel like I'm going to get shit on them.
Yeah, there is that.
There's that constant fear
I don't
of like,
bring
I'm going to
books
get
in the
shit.
bathroom.
I'm going to get shit on my shirt.
I don't
on the
bring,
back of it when I'm
I don't
wiping.
bring books in the bathroom
No.
anymore. I can't do it.
I did it before.
I used to do it all the time.
You bring your phone to the bathroom.
That's
but
different.
I can clean my phone, which I do. I sanitize my phone all the time.
You can clean your phone, but you can't like watch a comic book.
Yeah.
So I mean, there is a book I've been reading. You
mean like a book without real pictures?
No.
Yeah, like the last one he just talked about.
Oof.
Yeah, that was actually a real book. But no, there's a comic.
I didn't even know we were talking about real books. I've been reading some real books, but I'm not gonna get into that.
Don't get into that.
But I've only read the prequel out of the whole series, so I'm not even gonna bother mentioning it this week. So yeah, I'm knocked out too.
Wow, I win. So I'll try to be brief about these two things. So I read Dark Knight Returns Golden Child, which is the one shot that came out in 2019, written by Frank Miller and the art by Rafael Grampa, I think. It's a Hispanic name. I don't know how to pronounce it. So it's the furthest along in the Dark Knight Returns continuity. There's some interesting ideas. So it's a follow-up. So it's we have canonically speaking, you have The Last Crusade, which is a short, like couple of issues. Then you have
I liked that.
Yeah, it was okay. Then you have Dark Knight Returns, Dark Knight Strikes Back, and then you have oh fudge, what's the third one?
Dark Knight.
Master Race.
Master Race. And then it's Golden Child. So Golden Child's just one issue, meaning it's because it's a DC Black Label book. It came out like a cute little paperback, which I own. It cost me like $7.
It's not bad.
No, there's some cool ideas in there in terms of how they use some of the characters.
Is it just one issue?
Yeah, it's a one shot.
How do you do that?
By making a one shot.
No, I mean, is it literally one?
Yeah, it's
comic?
It's a really dummy thick issue, and it's made in a trade paperback format.
So it's probably like
or is
9
it
pages.
2 or 3 comics?
No, it's one issue. It was only released as one single issue, and then they rebranded it as a paperback.
That sucks. Right.
I like it. It's cute. It also cost me like $7. So there's some really cool ideas. The story is mediocre and messy at best. It's not as bad of Frank Miller as I've seen before, so technically it's an improvement. The art is freaking gorgeous. Like this artist does Frank Miller's art better than Frank Miller does.
That usually happens.
I mean, true, but like it's better than Dark Knight Returns type art. It has the same grit and line work and similar ink work as well, but it looks good and it looks gross when it needs to look gross.
Nice.
It's gorgeous. The color work is phenomenal. The character designs are really cool because now Carrie Kelly, this far along the continuity, is basically Batwoman. It's weird. It doesn't involve Batman because Batman doesn't actually die in this continuity. Like, so it's her going on like missions and stuff, and she's kind of turning into him. Like, she's turning into a bit of an asshole. And it deals with Superman and Wonder Woman's kids, and it kind of about the whole, is humanity actually worth saving? It's a very political book, not in terms of, hey, it's got a political setting.
Hasn't it always been political?
I mean, dummy political, like, bad.
Oh, that's the one you texted me and said don't read because the politics will piss you off.
Yeah, like, I get the idea of where it was going.
I really don't like reading politics, do you? Is it like this?
I just don't want it in my comics.
Just literally look up Dark Knight Golden Child and
this
just look at the art. That does. But the thing that I did love about the whole thing, like way too much, was Darkseid. Darkseid's in it. It's handled really well, and the way he looks is freaking sweet. It has a lot of voiceover, and it's not always great. Like, you can tell it's Frank Miller trying too hard and using a crutch. Like, there's voiceover on voiceover on voiceover. But the letterers did a pretty good job at keeping it out of the way of the art. And it does work in terms of Darkseid being an ethereal being that exists outside of our dimension. Like, it does work. It's like a mediocre midpoint. I would actually recommend reading it, but Jacob's gonna get pissed off reading it because it's very politically heavy, and not in a good or creative way. It's just there.
Oh, I'd probably get bored.
You would actually get bored. It's hard to say. It's a single issue, and you could get bored in it. But I enjoyed it, but like not too much. And then the other thing that I've been reading, which I really enjoyed, was Star Wars: The Rise of Kylo Ren, which is...
Dude, I have that, and I've been wanting to read that. Ugh.
It's 4 issues, which were published in 2019 and 2020, written by Charles Soule and illustrated by Will Sliney. So being based in Star Wars' kind of mixed lore in terms of how the sequel trilogy works, with some really rough elements it has to work with.
So Colin's head is still on the table, so you should stay spoiler-free for this
I'm not going to spoil anything.
All right. I was just calling it out.
I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm not that much of a dick. Shut up! It has a lot more emotional nuance in it than like the entirety of the sequel trilogy combined. The characterization is really well. This would be amazing if it wasn't hamstrung by 3 movies that have a different mentality of how to approach their characters each time. So it goes through, like, basically from the rise of, like, the new Jedi school, and then him and Luke. It's really good stuff. There's only a couple of things I would even think about changing in it. The art is really cool, and
that's what I was just gonna ask
it's
about.
not photorealistic, but it's
obviously.
that very, because it's using an established universe that's primarily a live-action medium. Like, it does that, and it draws Adam Driver in a way where he looks like an actual teenager, and his, like, proportions are just slightly off, and then you see him get a little older, and you're like... It captures that Adam Driver-ness where you're like, you are not conventionally attractive, but, like, that's not a bad-looking dude.
Okay.
Dude, fugly.
Okay, remember in the first movie, Force Awakens, he doesn't look like that, like, at all in anywhere else except for that. That doesn't even look like Adam Driver. Like, his face looks too pretty to be Adam Driver.
It's because of how they handled his facial hair and his haircut, and the different types of makeup they put on him, for sure.
Oh, okay.
For sure. Anywho, yeah, so it's very... It has emotion to it. It makes sense. It captures all the points about Kylo Ren that you actually like as a character. I would have liked if there were a couple of extra issues. I wouldn't say it felt like rushed, but you could have squeezed out another like 2, 3, 4 issues out of this thing.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
definitely.
Don't make it an ongoing series. That's way too much. But I think up to 10 issues would have been reasonable. But 4 is good. It didn't rush anything. And it's got some cool shit in it with the Knights of Ren. And now I'm done. I liked it. For a Star Wars canon comic book, it is one of the best.
It is tough to find a good canon Star Wars comic book. So
It is really hard
I think
to
they're
find a
all
good comic
I
book.
think there are no bad Star Wars comic books in new canon. There are a lot of mediocre ones.
in canon.
In
That's
canon.
where we-
In canon.
yeah,
There's a
yeah.
lot of mediocre ones. I wouldn't argue any of them are bad, but there are only a few that rise above, and this is one of the ones that rises above.
I mean, for crying out loud, it's tough to find an in canon comic book, Star Wars comic book. Like,
There are a lot of them. What
I
are
mean,
you talking about?
there's
They're like 400 issues
100,000
so
more
far.
out of canon.
Well, that's because
Star Wars
Legends is
comic
like
books.
50 years worth of stuff.
Right.
Anywho,
It's just tough to find.
I win. I read the most, and that's not even all that I read. So, haha.
Wow.
Wow.
Colin.
Good job.
Yeah,
Good
I know.
job.
Thank you
I'm
very
gonna-
much.
And we're back. Sorry for the technical difficulties in the first half hour of the show. Our technical audio technician is a retard, so...
Jacob,
Yeah,
stop talking in the third person.
What do you mean? We have a separate guy.
No, we
Right
don't.
there?
We are a professional
Right, Daniel?
show. We hire
just tried
people
making a
for
joke.
stuff. So
Yeah.
anyway, Spencer, what have you been watching?
Adventure Time!
Shocker.
I had to. I finally finished season 6. That took me way too freaking long.
Oh,
Yeah,
you got
but-
Stakes now?
How many?
I'm in the middle of Stakes.
Oh, dude, Stakes is the best
Stakes is
one.
really good.
Stakes is the best one.
For
dude.
reference to Jacob, Stakes is like what? How many episodes is it? Like 6
It's
to
the
10?
whole-
Is
it's
it
like-
all of 7?
It's like half of
So it's got to be like what? Like 12 episodes? I'm on like episode 4 or 5.
It's like a lot of the episodes.
It's a
season
mini
7.
series as part of the show where it's all Marceline and vampire focused, and they have a different intro. Like the intro
Yeah,
song
it's
is different.
It's its whole arc.
I really like that intro song. She has a nice voice.
Oh yeah. I love that they do that in Adventure Time. Like they have their own little story arcs.
Yeah. Anywho,
It's a new
I finally
thing.
finished season 6, which took way too long, which is kind of a negative. It wasn't as enjoyable as the other seasons to get through.
Understandable.
There were some parts, like the Orgalorg, which was brilliant. I really like that. The plot twists were really good. It's just some of the episodes most of them weren't really that funny. And the King of Ooh, I don't like.
I hate the King of Ooh.
I don't even hate him so I can watch it. It just pisses me off so much that I don't want to watch it. Like it just, and it's such a focus at the moment because he is currently Princess King of Ooh, and I hate it. I hate it so much. There's potential that's funny.
But it is a cool thing that's like an actual change in the story.
Yeah, the
It's
change
nice
of the
that-
status quo is good. It's just
I like
the
that they
fact
do that instead of having like we have this whole premise in this setting, nothing changes in this setting. The characters will change minorly, but it's not like that at all. Where they change everything. Like, do you care about little spoilers? That's like
No.
very okay.
I already
Does
know.
Finn
where
have
it
his
goes.
arm still?
You mean the second arm? Because he already lost his arm back in like season 3 or 4, and then he got it was a while ago.
That was not season 3 or 4.
It was season 5. It was a
That
while
had
ago.
okay. Season
He lost
5,
his
yeah.
arm, then he got the little flower, and then the flower turned into basically like a cocoon, and then he has his arm again. And I know he's gonna lose his arm again.
Yeah, he's gonna lose.
He
his
is
axe.
freaking Luke Skywalker. He needs to lose his arm.
Yeah, dude, I love that. It's like they actually have. He's got like asymmetrical about him. I love that.
I do like that.
Like Hellboy with his Fist of Doom.
Yeah. I just didn't like this season as much. It's shorter than season 5, which was like 50 episodes, so it's shorter than that. It's just the King of Ooh stuff is really dragging it down, and Jacob is stupidly lost. But
That's fine. We're having a conversation.
yeah, it's
The
not as
adults
funny.
are talking here.
It's not as funny, which isn't something that it doesn't need to be funny because I watch a lot of things that really aren't funny.
But like Adventure Time is like based around comedy.
Right, like Adventure Time, I really, really admire the balance it has between having very adult themes but a very childish demeanor about them.
Like in the Lemon Grab and like Lemon Hope when you
It's
see
so
Lemon Hope for the
depressing.
first time.
Yeah, it's so
the toilet
depressing.
is like a lemon juicer.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, like there's a lot of that, like that is the thing, like when it creeps out, especially Stakes at the moment. I'm starting season 7. Like it builds up to something actually pretty creepy, and it has to break it with comedy because it is also a kids show, which I appreciate that value.
There's so much creepiness about the show that I love. It's
I like the underlying sense of something is off here. That's always there.
It's
I like that.
Yeah, we're kids and we're having fun, but yeah, we're in like a f***ed up world.
Yeah, and that's just something I really like about the show. But season 6 was honestly a bit of a drag.
Yes, I can agree with that.
Colin, what have you been watching?
It's been like a bunch of things going around, but
Last week you were bouncing back and forth between Cowboy Bebop and Naruto.
actually I haven't been watching Cowboy Bebop. Oh, okay, it has been Naruto. I started watching Nightcrawler.
There you go.
The movie
I love that
Nightcrawler.
movie
That's what it was.
so much. That is one of my
he
favorite
does a
movies.
really good job at being so f***ing creepy.
That movie
and,
is
like,
one of my favorite movies
I'm
ever.
still in the beginning of the movie because like
Jacob, you would actually like it. It's not a metaphysical
I don't
movie.
believe
It's very
it.
No, it's very
I
literal.
don't believe you.
It's all literal.
It's very
It's
literal.
all literal.
Like, dude's super greasy. Like his hair is so greasy too, and like I can't tell what his end goal is. It seems like it's just money, but I feel like there's more to it.
That, I think, is one of the things that most people seem to appreciate about the movie the most is you can't put a term on his condition,
He's definitely got a condition.
but you can't be like, well, he's obviously a sociopath, or he's obviously a psychopath. You can't put a nail on it.
He's not a psychopath.
He's just screwed up,
Yeah.
and he's okay with being screwed up. Oh, it's such a good movie. The cinematography and the lighting. Oh, it's a beautiful movie.
So far of what I can tell of, like, without going super deep into it, and I'm still in the beginning of the movie.
That's deep.
Is that it's about, so far he's trying to make money, make a quick buck, and the first thing that you see is a bunch of like metal and shit, anything like scrap that he's stolen that he could sell, and it's in the back of his car.
Yeah.
And he's going to a restricted area to who knows what, and
He's like
this
a complete
security guard finds him, and he's like trying to talk his way out of it, but then steals his watch because he's like, oh, I could probably sell this.
Yeah.
And he goes to a guy to try to sell like sewer caps and all this other metal, and he's trying to get a job from this guy because might as well.
And the guy is like, I don't have any jobs. He's like, no, I will sell you on why you should hire me.
And then he says, I don't hire thieves. And it's like, oh, all right.
It starts off on a very strong note.
Yeah,
it's such a good movie.
It's such a good movie so far, from what I can tell.
So good. It's not even like a Drive where it's very literal, but also there are some metaphysical themes to it. It's very literal.
What keeps
Jacob,
you going,
will like it.
What keeps you going is you're like, what is his problem? Like, what is in his brain?
I like the fact that every single scene
And
is
why
like,
can
is
I
he gonna
relate to
snap
it
in
for
this
some
scene? Is he
reason?
gonna snap in this scene? Is he gonna snap and kill everybody in this scene? And he pretty much never does.
Yeah, it's
Just
like that
one
constant.
time that's in like the middle of the movie, and he just somehow he keeps himself under wraps.
I don't know that yet, so don't. I'm literally in the beginning
so
of it.
Good. Oh, it's so
I added
good.
it to the Netflix queue.
Good.
We'll see if I watch it.
You know what you should watch?
But
Haunting of Hill House.
that's been on the queue for a while.
You need to watch that.
Jacob, what else have you been watching?
Just haven't gotten to it. This list is actually a list instead of my reading list, so
Wow.
we actually have a competition here.
Ooh.
I tried finishing this show. I tried crunching it in before I came over to record this, and I have like 10 minutes left, and I'm really annoyed. But I watched Transformers: War for Cybertron, which is a Netflix anime original show. It's gonna be a trilogy of seasons, I believe, but they've only got the first part out.
Huh.
It's 6 episodes. They're about 20 minutes long each. So this one's called Siege.
Ooh.
Wow. So I'm gonna start by saying I saw the first 3 or 4 Michael Bay timeline. I guess.
Bayformers.
Yeah, of Transformers, but that's pretty much all I know of Transformers, and I saw them 100 years ago. So
Yeah.
I don't know much of anything about Transformers, but
They're
this
cars
seems to be
that aren't cars.
Do you remember the Cartoon Network, like, American anime?
Yes.
That's the first time I ever watched Transformers, and I actually loved that as a kid.
Yeah, I've seen nothing. I've read nothing.
Wow.
Yeah. So, this seems to be before they came to Earth. They're on their home planet trying to figure things out, and they're warring with each other, so it's kind of a prequel to what I
Everything.
know. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure almost everything in most canons is before they hit Earth, I think.
It's made by Rooster Teeth Productions or
Whoa.
whatever, animation.
I
who-
totally forgot that they got big.
Yeah, they made Red vs. Blue and a whole
Red
bunch of
vs.
other
Blue
stuff.
is the funniest thing that has ever existed.
If you
I
say
need to
so.
watch that. I've seen
It's-
so much of it, but
The
I've never,
quality
like, watched
is
it.
part of the
Lackluster.
charm, because it's
Yeah,
all
yeah.
what is it called?
It looks like it was made in engine back in the day.
No, it is. It's what's the freaking term for it? There's
I
a
thought
term for
they
it.
just
It's
recorded it while they were
machinima.
in
There we go.
game.
It's all
Yes.
it's all machinima.
Yes.
So it's all recorded doing whatever you can do in game.
Yes, that's what it was. Yep.
That's
I
why.
remember that.
That's a big thing about Halo, and that's
Machinimas
why
were so good in the day.
that was a big thing back in the day. Is because you had Forge mode and you could do almost anything, and
Right.
you could have a detachable camera for theater mode, so you
Right.
could do all sorts of funky stuff.
I figured that was
Remember
what was going
Minecraft
on.
Machinimas?
Those were rough.
Do you,
But Red vs.
do you
Blue.
remember Herobrine? Like the first
Everybody
one?
remembers Herobrine.
No, not the character, but like that one.
Yeah.
That was one of like the
I'm a
best.
Gen Zer, I know.
Okay, we
Yeah.
need you and I are gonna have a marathon about
No.
that. Yes, we are.
We should then, if we're gonna do a marathon, we should watch the first 5 seasons of Red vs. Blue with Jacob.
Yes.
See, that's the thing is
We
the
should also watch
seasons, the first couple
Minecraft
seasons
Marathon.
are like just like it's like a 2-hour-long movie of like a bunch of shorts put together. So it constructs a narrative, but when it's on Netflix, or at least it was when I watched it the last time.
I looked it up on YouTube.
I think it's pretty much all on YouTube. But it's so funny. The storyline's so whack. You can't just jump in. You kind of have to start from the beginning, otherwise none of it will make sense. They literally travel timelines, meaning when they jump to the next game engine, that's what the explanation is for why everybody looks pretty. It's so funny.
Okay.
Rooster Teeth is the shit. Anyway.
So the story, I mean, it's alright. It's interesting. It's definitely a prequel. Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine.
I was kind of... I mean, it's interesting. I definitely binged the crap out of it pretty easily. But it's kind of clunky, I guess, is what I'm looking for. There's a lot of conversation.
McClunky.
I mean, I have several small complaints written down, but it's like, I don't want to bring the whole show down. Like, it's fine. I binged it in a week. Like, my biggest complaint is that Optimus Prime is a dick.
Yeah.
Pretty much everyone.
Is he normally a dick?
I don't know.
I mean, as far as I know, yes.
Really?
He's
I
the
thought-
arrogant do-gooder.
He was supposed to be a hero, but he's a dick, especially to his number one or next in command, Alita 1, not to be confused with Alita the Battle Angel, which I also haven't
That
seen.
would be a whack crossover. That movie was surprisingly good.
I want to watch the anime.
The anime, I haven't actually watched the anime.
Yes, I am a weeb, and I'm okay with that. At least I'm not like a creepy weeb with a body pillow.
We are gonna get you a body pillow for your birthday.
Ew.
Yes.
No.
Fine, I'll buy it for him myself.
Get me Kirito from SAO.
It's tough to tell the difference from Optimus Prime and Ultra Magnus. I don't know how much you guys know of Transformer characters.
I know who you're talking about.
Yep.
Okay, so I think it's an artwork thing, but it could also be just how the Transformers were made. I literally don't know anything about Transformers.
It sounds like because it's partially, maybe because it's an anime, the art style, because like the original 90s Transformers was stupidly distinct in how they looked. Like
Yeah.
there was no confusing
a
them.
lot of these are...
It feels like it might be, are they more,
Kinda
I don't
confusing.
actually know the series you're talking about, so I'm trying to do guesswork here.
But-
Is it mostly, is it slightly dark, edgy prequel, like is it more grayscale, like less color?
No, there are a lot of colors. It's just everybody looks the same, so...
Oh, that's dumb. Oh, I remember hearing about that. Yeah.
Especially with Ultra Magnus and Optimus Prime, they're red and blue, red, white, and blue. So
Oh.
like, they kind of
America! Yeah!
they're the same color scheme and same kind of body shape.
shape!
The only thing separating
They're both some nice curvy robots.
Optimus
Curvy
Prime
boys.
is that he's got the big
Femboys.
truck windows on his chest as chest plates. So that's how I can tell the difference.
Fair enough.
And
That
also,
works.
Ultra Magnus is captured and tortured and killed.
Yeah.
So.
That works.
All the Decepticon jets are the same model.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like a thing that's in like the Transformers in general. Like all the Decepticons are like just jets.
Yeah.
Like
well,
Jetstream
No, not
even.
that they're all the same. That they're all jets. It's that they all look like the same jet. Like a jet as a jet. Like there's no...
Why am I thinking about
that's like a
JJ the
thing.
jet plane right now?
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about, though, don't you?
Yes, I tried to forget about that.
You're
Jerk.
so welcome.
Didn't
you used to have a JJ the jet plane T-shirt?
No.
Was that your brother? I think that was Caleb.
Might have been Caleb, but...
Caleb, you had weird child merchandise. I was right there with you, though, because I had a Bible Man costume.
You had all kinds
Dude,
of
you had a
Bible Man
Bible Man
shit.
costume?
Dude, okay.
No
really
fair!
short I made mine. I got the helmet piece, and I got the freaking Sword of Truth.
Yep.
And
The yellow lightsaber.
No, it's a Sword of Truth.
It's the Sword of Truth.
I literally made my own outfit. And fun fact, if she's listening, hi, sweetie. I actually made the woman who is now my girlfriend hand out like bookmarks for a performance I did. I was like 6.
Gosh.
So I did this little shindig at church. And it was so bad, but it was so fun. Yeah, literally. Played up the whole suit up sequence. It was so bad.
Dude,
But
that's awesome.
I made
I
my
wanna
own
see
suit,
that.
and I gave her I begged her to hand out bookmarks to people.
Dude,
and she
watch
still
Bible
has
Man
some.
again. That's
She literally still has a couple of them.
true love right there.
See, she wasn't thinking about that. She just keeps stuff.
That's
But
weird.
yeah, she's having some difficulty finding them right now. Please find them. I want the other one. But like we talked about that not too long ago. She still has them somewhere around.
This is an outtake.
Bible Man though,
I loved Bible Man. Just every villain was the same thing.
because it's Lucifer.
Well, yeah,
It's the same shit.
Yeah, it was just Lucifer, wasn't
We need
it?
to have a Bible Man episode.
Yeah, wasn't...
We are three nerds sitting around a table swearing about Bible Man.
Oh, yeah!
Wasn't...
We can make it
There's
a
like there's 3 Bible men, wasn't there? Like 3
We
different...
only talk about the first one, and then the first episode of the second one. Everything else is garbage.
Understandable.
Objectionable garbage.
Yeah, because they had a Bible cave in like
He became Batman, and then he became Captain America. It's dumb. We need to have a double feature of watching all of the original Bible Man and all of the original Larry Boy, and we're gonna have a big ass episode about it.
You remember Larry Boy cartoons?
Oh, yeah.
That was the best one. Where
those
he
were
had a
so
cape.
good. Angry eyebrows.
Yes, with cape. That was so much better with cape.
We need to shut up, but it's so good.
We're watching those.
You need to
Write
leave
that
that
down.
in.
So
Leave that in.
I did a lot of research on how Big Idea Productions died, and the Larry
And
Boy...
is currently being revived. Ish.
Ish.
It's better.
We can hold our breath on it. But that's why Larry Boy went to like animation and cartoon, because they couldn't afford the actual animation that they were using before. So
Yeah, but that shit was so good.
it's pretty sad, actually. I was bummed out when I read the death of Big Idea Productions, because that was my childhood.
Yeah, I know, but they're getting bought out again, or they have been bought out again, haven't they?
Kind of regained control. Part of the original creative team has regained creative control, and they're rebooting it, meaning they're just doing sequels to the old stuff. It's coming back, I think this year, actually. I need to look into that. Caleb, you need to help us with this. Anyways, are you done talking about Transformers?
Back to Transformers. I mean, I don't want like a Michael Bay transformation where it takes 10 minutes to change from a truck into a Transformer, but the transformations were lackluster. It took like a couple frames of, and every single Transformer does like a backflip into the air and then shoots off.
Yeah.
Like, they're all the same transformation, and it kind of sucks. So, I will be watching Season 2, but...
I have the JJ the Jet Plane theme song stuck in my head now.
You're special.
I hate myself.
Yeah, I will be back for Season 2, but I hope
I will throw that on my list if I ever get around to it.
Oh, yeah, and also, in, like, the second or third episode, Megatron has a little underling come up and be like, Master, we have the thing that will kill all the good guys, and all you have to do is press this button. And he's like, no, I can't do that. It's a matter of principle. And then Optimus Prime hears about how Megatron could do that. He's like, that's a good idea. I'm just going to kill them all. And he gets the nuke 'em all button, and he's in the process of nuking them all.
That
10 minutes left of the show.
I'm pretty sure that's definitely an intentional theme that the Transformers creative team are trying to hit on.
I know, but
about
it's
good
frustrating.
versus evil. I'm getting really pretentious right now.
It took 4 episodes in between the nuke 'em all button being presented to the end of the show to freaking get a conclusion.
Hey, at least they're firing Chekhov's gun.
Right.
Something.
So that's it for Transformers.
Nice. So, I watched Old Guard.
Oh, how'd you like that?
I wouldn't say I liked it, but I enjoyed it.
What did you enjoy about it? Please tell me more.
The choreography, the cinematography, the lighting, and I would argue the performances, or some of the performances, were pretty good. The stunt work was good. I like the premise. I do actually like the whole...
I do like the premise.
I like the whole infinite dying, and I think they handled the theme of there are still stakes, even though these people can't actually die. I think they handled that part well.
Yeah.
But the story was all over the place, and the exposition. Yeah, that part was bad. There's so much exposition.
Nope, it still killed it.
Wow. Just too much exposition.
Here, let me turn the thing around so you can see. There's a green light when you talk, and then and then there's a red light when you
don't talk.
No, when you go way too loud.
Yeah.
So.
Anywho, it was alright. It's like a 6 out of 10. It's good mediocre. There's a lot of good ideas. The editing wasn't too choppy, which was nice. I did think it's just the writing wasn't great. At least in terms of dialogue. I'd say that like the structure was pretty good, but the dialogue was bad.
Pretty much, it's a story that I think we would enjoy better as the book instead of the movie.
Yes.
I bet you $10 right now that the book is better than the movie.
Probably. Colin, what else have you been watching?
I've been watching Legend of Korra. I kind of like stopped watching it for a little bit, and then.
Wait a minute, you have the Domino's app?
Yeah, I got the Domino's app. Dude, I felt like eating gross today. Yeah, I'm a fat ass.
Where is the closest Domino's to you?
It's near Planet Fitness.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So is Little Caesars and Pizza Hut. They're all right there.
Alright, so you've
But
been
I've been-
watching
Legend of Korra.
Planet of Korra.
Because I need
Avatar 2.0.
Yes and no, but because I've been taking a break from Naruto, because it's like, depending on how you see it, it's 9 seasons long. The first one.
Oof.
And then there's 11 movies.
Oof.
And then there's Naruto Shippuden, which is, I think, 8 seasons.
It's like trying to watch Pokemon.
And then there's Boruto, his son, which I'm going to watch every single bit of Naruto.
And then...
And then it's his daughter's cousin's third removed nephew's roommate.
And then there's all the
Karato.
manga.
I'm not reading the manga.
Why?
I refuse.
Why?
Because that's just going to take forever.
Yeah, because watching all these shows isn't going to take forever.
No, it's not. I'm
Naruto.
Yeah, so I'm watching that as well.
Is that it?
And...
Yeah, I don't really want to go too much into depth because I just got back into Legend of Korra today.
And how's the, like, is it getting better? Like, is the animation getting better? Is the sound design better? Like,
Legend of Korra?
Yeah.
So, Legend of Korra, like, I think its peak performance was season 1 because
Wow.
that's when the animation studio, like, had like, good enough money to get everything. They got a good start. And,
Yeah, they had that little break between...
What it was with season 1 was that was supposed to be it. That was it. That's all they were hired to do. And then they got good responses. And so Nickelodeon's like, hey, make another one. And so then they made season 2, and they thought that was going to be the last one. So they, it was a little, animation was a little bit like, not, it was still good, but like it wasn't as good as like the last one. So everything was still in the same art style. It's just a little bit, lighting difference. Anyway, and then season 3, or after Nickelodeon was like, hey, you can make 2 more. And so then it made 2 more.
Oof.
So that's why people complain about the storylines and stuff, and
Because it's a bit janky.
yeah, it is, because it's like they're trying to do their all. Like, okay, since this last one, let's do our all. Let's like get the best we can do, and then they just keep getting pushed and pushed. How about you squeeze it out a little bit more?
Squeeze.
Yeah.
oh yeah, definitely squeeze it out
So
just a little bit more.
Oh my goodness!
Okay. I'm really uncomfortable. Jacob, have you been watching anything else?
Yeah. I've only listed one thing so far, so.
Mm-hmm.
My dad and I
Sorry.
binged the Amazon Prime special show, The Boys.
Oh, damn. I was going to start watching that.
So I was I was like crazy skeptical going into it because I read the book back in April and I was like, this is not for me. Like, it's the Punisher on steroids.
The
And
Punisher on
Punisher-
literal steroids.
Yeah,
With superpowers.
and porn and whatever the frig else thrown in there. Like, it was a rough read, dude.
Rough. Well, Jacob doesn't like it rough. You heard it here first,
You
folks.
heard it here for.
You heard it for here.
Heard it bird.
You heard it from here, folks. You know, we want to come back and listen to us.
So the show is actually a lot more enjoyable, I thought,
Nice.
than the book was. I mean, it helped having read the book to understand what was going on. I think it established the characters better, but the show focuses on like corporate superheroes a lot.
It seems
Oh,
to
yeah.
focus on capitalism
Yes.
a bit more.
And one of the
than
main
book did.
characters is like actually cares about being a superhero, but like they're trying to what's the word?
So she was
Trying to
played.
just use her as like
She was
meat.
definitely more of a victim in the book than they showed. Like, I think that it was more rapey, I guess.
Oh, I can see that, especially with like what's his name, their Superman.
Yeah.
it was just
Yeah.
she was definitely a better goody two shoes in the book than the show.
Yeah.
And she's like forced to come around, whereas in the show she doesn't. She's like, no, this is wrong, and I'm gonna stand up for what's right, and kind of fixes it that way. But I definitely think it's more interesting. I think they portrayed the heroes as the villains better in the show than in the book. Like they explain why Carl Urban is on his revenge vendetta.
Is Carl Urban your man crush?
Against the heroes.
It looks like what people think Zack Snyder does
Yeah.
on roids, but with the Punisher, and desaturated with texturized suits.
Sex.
Also, yes.
So, my biggest takeaway and my highest praise was that Carl Urban plays his role absolutely perfectly. I think he does a better job with his role than Henry Cavill did with The Witcher, and that's
Whoa.
not detracting from Henry Cavill as The Witcher. They're both.
I feel like you.
Henry, we love
I
you.
feel like you actually liked him as Geralt more than I did, and I really did like that show.
I love
More
that
so,
show.
I give that show so much of the benefit of the doubt. I have a problem with that. Like, I get what it was going for, and I like it for what it was going for more so than what it actually did.
Yeah.
That's such a good fit, though. That was a good fit.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
that
like.
voice.
Mm-hmm.
That voice makes me wet. So, are you going to be watching The Boys Season 2 when it comes out?
Probably. Yeah.
Nice.
I would. I should watch that show.
I'm getting on The Boys very soon.
You're
pretty
getting
soon.
on the boys
shut
very
up!
soon.
He's getting on the boys.
You
very
heard it here,
soon.
folks.
On
It's
the boys
very
with the
high on
boys.
my list. Okay.
Spencer, your turn.
I watched Umbrella Academy Season 2.
I started that today before I came over.
I started watching that and then I stopped.
Colin, you're just wrong.
Yeah.
Dude,
But
I was like,
let me speak.
okay.
I kind of get what you meant. The first episode is easily the worst of that season. It's very rough.
Really?
It's fun. But the thing that pissed me off, I almost did turn it off. The editing and the cinematography is so janky and wild. Not like shaky cam. It's just whip, pan, quick cut, whip, pan, all over the place. They
So
try to
it
one
makes-
take everything,
so
and it's
it's
so
like-
bad.
and they make it look like it's a, they make it look like it's a play. Like the two actors, they're like,
Yeah.
they look like they're just standing right in front of each other. It's like
It-
the cinematography is just so bad.
Yeah, the first episode is rough, and I also didn't binge season 1 right beforehand because they literally take place back to back.
that so hard.
I had a little less context. I remembered everything, but it didn't.
Right.
I think it transitioned well, but I don't know that.
I really, really enjoyed the recap that they showed before.
The
I started.
recap was hilarious.
Yeah, that was great.
That was good. But
I felt
hated
like
it.
I was appropriately caught up.
recaps.
I thought it was funny.
I was like, this is so fucking dumb.
anywho, yeah, the first episode was rough. But I
was enjoying
a little
it.
note I had after the whole season, I would have really liked it if they had used the code names more in both seasons. That's just me.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with using their names and or numbers, but the code names are pretty cool, even though some of them.
Code names.
So you have, I don't remember what order they're in. So you have number 1, Luther is Space Boy, or
Yeah.
Spaceman.
Yeah.
5 is the boy because he's a boy.
Yeah, the boy.
Frickin' Ben. What is Ben? Is Ben 3 or 4? I don't know. Ben, the
Ben's
dead one.
5 or 4.
4. He's the no, he's the
Wait,
frick,
no.
what is Ben?
Where's Klaus 4?
Klaus might be 4. Klaus is the seance. And then Allison is the rumor, and Diego is the Kraken, which is such a weird thing because you're like, wait, Ben is the one with the tentacles, but Diego is the Kraken because he can like flip a switch and get unleashed like the Kraken, and also he can breathe underwater like forever.
Release the Kraken.
Which you never see in the show.
Who
that I can
can?
remember. Diego. He can breathe underwater.
What?
Yeah, but you never see it in the show.
Wait, so is
far.
that his power? Besides throwing
It's
knives?
that, and he can control stuff he throws. Anywho, it's just something that I had noticed. I was like, why don't they use it? Sometimes it feels like the code names would have worked better than using the names.
I remember them being used a lot in the book, so...
They were all over the books, and in the first season, they were usually thrown out as jokes, which it totally works. It's like, Space Boy, or whatever.
Yep.
But some of them, it would have been cool to use. The effects were a big step up from Season 1. I mean, except Pogo. Pogo looked amazing in Season 1, and he looks just as good now.
Nice.
The plot I thought was interesting, and I really, really like the political setting. It's a backdrop, and it's relevant to the plot, but it is not the driving factor of the plot. Using the 60s setting, and then something minor is like, hey, Allison wasn't African-American in the books, but they use that to their advantage in the show because, hey, we race-swapped this actor, we're going to use this as context in this new setting. And it's really good, and it's a pretty big departure from the books. As much as I can tell.
Season 2 like it's like its own thing, like how right? It's not like based off of the comics, is it?
Yeah, it is.
It is.
It's based off of book 2, Dallas.
Oh, okay.
But it's a lot loose. It's a lot looser than book 1 was.
Okay, because I didn't know if it was something like Hellboy the movie. Where Hellboy 1 was like actually comics, and 2 was its own thing.
They follow the vague outline, but they switch around a lot.
Okay.
It's also a slightly different tone than the books. But I like the plot. The plot was actually interesting for me. Ben was big ol' step up. There's some good emotional beats, which Jacob's going to get to, that hit really hard. He's just funny. The twists and turns I thought were all good and actually set up well.
I love Klaus.
Klaus, I thought in Season 2 was actually kind of boring. His shtick got really old in Season 1. I liked it because they leaned into like the PTSD part. And then in Season 2, he has a cult. And he's just basically... Like, he reverts back to being an alcoholic later, and, like, this isn't it's a spoiler, but nobody gives a crap. But it's not, like, I don't know, there was less emotional meat to it. He has stuff with, his boyfriend in the past, and, like, that stuff is good. It's just, Klaus was really important to Season 1, and he's important in Season 2, but not emotionally as much. Mm-hmm. I'd argue it's, like, kind of Diego's season.
That's what it seems like. That's what, when I first started.
It's like Diego and 5... And
Season
Allison and also... See, that's the thing with the show, is it's actually hard to nail down who the focus is, and that's something I think they do really well.
Season 1 was like Klaus and Luther. That's what it felt like.
But also definitely Vanya.
Yes, of course,
like,
Vanya.
I think if you're gonna make an argument, Vanya has to be the main character. If you had to pick one, because...
That's true. She, like, almost narrates it.
They spent a lot of time on Klaus, though. Like,
this is true. That's the thing, is every time you're like...
the most screen time.
But also this... Because Vanya was, like, the plot. You didn't know it was the plot until the end of Season 1. You're like, oh, this was the plot, not the story.
Well,
I loved her.
But that's because I read the book.
But I really like what they did with Vanya in this season. It was actually enjoyable by the end. Some of it was a little weird, but...
So you saw the whole season?
Yeah, I binged it over 2 days.
Dang.
I know. One day. My bad. One day.
Oh my f***ing word.
The freaking professional in the room.
You're welcome, boys. Anywho, I really liked it. Also, Adele's hello in Swedish.
Whoa.
I'm not saying anything else. Just keep that in your brain.
You cried.
No.
You did.
No.
You did.
I didn't. But it was so... Adele's hello, but in Swedish. It's in there, and it's hilarious.
Nice.
That's the end of my been watching.
Wow.
So...
Colin, do you have more?
Not really.
Ha!
I have one more.
Wow, Jacob wins.
What
else have you been watching, boy?
I've been educating myself on the classical and higher echelon of entertainment.
Michael Bay films.
South Park.
Oh!
Oh my gosh, I was watching a little bit of that.
South Park is gold.
The only thing I'd touched before I started watching the show this week was the video games, The Stick of Truth.
Those are so good.
They Fractured.
Are they?
But
Oh.
I'm so lost.
had to have those pauses there.
Yeah, it's great.
So yeah, I started in season 4, and I watched everything that was available on my DVR.
Nice.
Except for something about handicapped people going to hell, and probably so. I skipped those 2.
Demonetized.
Well, we're talking South Park here. There's
This
not
is
much
true.
I can talk about that won't get us demonetized.
Oh, South Park is so good.
Look
at my big hairy balls!
I've seen like 2 episodes.
So yeah, I watched everything I could for season 4, and then somebody at work suggested the Lord of the Rings episodes from season 6, which was okay. So yeah, I've really appreciated the.
South Park is great.
Yeah, I'm definitely watching more of that crap.
Oh, it's the best crap. Okay.
And I win what we're watching.
Alrighty, so we're gonna jump into the main topic.
Yay!
I think we should start with Batman Noel, because we're gonna be doing 3 separate books. We're doing Batman Noel, Joker, and Batman Damned. The reason I say start with Noel is because it's the smallest, has the least amount of implications, and it floats around in where in the timeline it is because it's not really relevant. So I think we could bang it out nice and easy right off the bat. It's small and it's cute and it's cozy.
It's a quick bang out.
Oof.
Summarize it in one sentence. Go.
Oh, okay.
It's a Christmas Carol, but with Batman.
Boom.
All right, that was really easy.
Okay. So I actually it was a hard read for me at first because I felt like the art and the visuals they just weren't catching my eye, and then there was just so much narration I just didn't really like either. But I kept with it because I need to read it, finish that pseudo trilogy.
Yeah.
Once I got to 10 pages, I actually really enjoyed it. And you Spencer said it's a little it's a cliche with the whole Christmas Carol thing.
It really is.
But
it's so cool.
But you said it wasn't overplayed and overdone.
I think
in a crazy way, and I can agree with that. But to sum it up, the story was just like a Christmas Carol. Obviously, Batman as Scrooge, and then very unorthodox, but oddly works very well.
It kind of does, though.
Yeah.
In a way, it's a very Batman story, which I think is why it fits well.
I was very surprised at how well it worked.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't expecting, I already knew it was a Christmas Carol as in Batman's universe, and I was like, that's not gonna work. But it does.
I loved, the 3 ghosts that it was.
I like how they picked those, and, the art style. When they were showing, Catwoman in the past, they had, the old purple outfit, stuff like that. I thought was really
they
cool.
did, wicked old and, Adam West Batman.
Yeah.
I liked that.
Can we talk about Superman is the ghost of Christmas present, right?
Yeah, he's the ghost of Christmas
I want to confirm that. I was the one. I read them first.
It's past,
but I also
present, future.
I'm just trying to remember which one is in what order. Can we talk about how they do Superman?
I love that.
Oh, it's so cozy. I want to give him a freaking hug.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like he's emanating warmth.
He's literally a light bulb. He's just glowing.
That bright.
No, but
it's a warm glow.
He's a Christmas tree.
Pretty much, yeah, exactly. It's
tree.
You can see the red and the blue, and then every other thing that's flesh color,
yellow,
and then it's all highlighted. Oh, it's so
yellow and
orange.
then
you can kind of feel why Batman's no, get away from me. I want to live in dark and snow and because you when you're living in the world of this book, and there's so much dark and snow and whatever, and Batman blends in with it, and then Superman comes.
There's a great break in the dark tone.
That was really.
I
nice.
love when writers do that with Batman, where they have Batman, you see everything's dark and muddy, and then just boom, Superman's there. There's shows and shit BTAS, the new animated series where it's they show Superman, and it's the same art style, but doesn't really feel different in tone. Obviously, because it's a cartoon,
right?
But besides that, bad example. But anyway, I just loved how they did that with Superman.
I absolutely loved it. Something I think I should.
It's a good break.
Yes. Something I think I should probably mention before we all forget. This was entirely done by Lee Bermejo, all on his own. I'm assuming he had an editor, but he did the art and the story, and I think that kind of shows through. It's I'm gonna lead with the one negative thing I have. It's not a super well written story. It's not bad, but you can tell why it's short.
Yeah.
It leans into the archetypes and the plot structure, and there's a lot less dialogue than you could put in there because he seems to be aware of his writing capabilities. So it's a very, very art focused book. Anything he touches is an art focused book anyway, but
something I just remembered flicking through the book was how they hinted at Joker at the end, like there's a newspaper flying through the city and it says Joker escapes, but it's like a teeny tiny little detail that you can notice. And then like at the end of the book, Joker just drops in out of nowhere and beats the crap out of Batman.
Yeah.
And it's like supposed to be a shock if you weren't paying attention. So I really like that.
I don't want to say the the character who was doing the voiceover. It's like it's obviously the everyman that we're following, but I like the fact that it was a twist. It's so weird. It's like I knew who it was, but I like the fact that it was still treated like a twist. I thought, I'm like, it could be Constantine, maybe, like you could conceive it as somebody else,
Maybe.
and then once you get like halfway through the book, you're like, it's gonna be the guy we're following, and then at the end, it's like. And he's narrating a story about basically how Batman saved his life. It's like it's cliche, but it gives you warm fuzzies. It gives you warm fuzzies.
Yeah.
And that's really weird to say for a Batman book, particularly a Batman book that's this gross looking.
Yeah, and dark. Like
grimy.
Dark. Yeah.
That's the thing. Batman in this universe is an asshole.
Yeah.
In all three of these books, like he fluctuates, and I think in this one he's arguably the nicest. He's a dick. Like he is so. I am borderline going to break my rule all the. Like he's borderline. I'm gonna break my rule all the time. I am almost done with this. I'm almost gonna go off the edge all the time. There is no break ever. I kind of like that because it's different.
He's playing the Scrooge character, so he's supposed to be
Right. It sets.
Yeah, but they already
like
set that up.
Noel, because Noel was done entirely by Bermejo. If I remember, it was done after Joker, I believe. Let me double check the dates in the books real quick. It doesn't seem to take place as part of the timeline. Like this, you could say he just dreamed all of this because it's a Christmas story. It's like a Christmas episode of a TV show. It's like this could be argued as non-canon anyway. This was in 2011, so this was after Joker, but before Batman Damned. But those two stories are very closely interlinked. That's like actually a direct sequel. So you could argue that this doesn't even take place in the same universe, but it's drawn by Bermejo, has the same type of characters. It's in the same universe. Just do it. It's in the same universe. That's just why I thought we could kind of do it first, because it's like it kind of takes place whenever. So does anybody else have any more thoughts on Batman Noel?
No, I think that's it. I think it's time to move on to the roughest entry of this series.
Joker, which technically came out first. Yeah, this came out in 2008. I want to address the controversy right off the bat. This came out the same year as The Dark Knight, and is one of the only things that has the Joker having like a cut open mouth smile. But there's concept art of this years before The Dark Knight even started concepting art, so it's just a coincidence. The artist has confirmed it's just a coincidence. Like, the book came out right at the same time as the movie premiered, so he had no inside information. It wasn't a tie-in. It's just a coinky-dink.
Really, I love coinky dinkies.
Oof, it's true. Anywho's, Jacob, give a plot summary for this book.
Plot summary: Joker is released from Arkham Asylum, and he goes through Gotham trying to reclaim possession of his underworld crime mob waves.
Cabal.
Yeah.
I love that word.
He's trying to be like, you're all my bitches now.
Yes.
Again.
Yeah.
The story is mostly narrated by Johnny Frost,
it's definitely his POV.
Is sent to Arkham in the first couple pages to pick him up. And another minor detail that I love about the whole book is that when he introduces himself to the Joker, he says, "My name's Johnny Frost," and for the entire book, Joker says, Johnny, go get the car.
Yeah.
Johnny.
It got on my nerves.
No, I love it.
That.
I mean, I liked it, but it got on my nerves in the way of like, you can feel like he's just sitting there like, Joker, shut up. But don't ever say that because you'll die. I felt for the character because he just kept using the same stupid nickname that's annoying as.
I like it.
Oh, I liked it. I actually found Joker kind of funny in this thing, even though Joker is arguably probably his most sadistic in this book, as we've seen him for the most part.
Skinning a man alive.
Yeah, and something that I wanted to hit on was he raped a woman in this book. This is the only interpretation of Joker that's committed sexual violence
Wait,
that I'm
where?
aware of.
That's what I said too. I had to look it up
Where?
5 minutes ago before we started re-recording.
Near the
again.
end of the book,
I'm
when
looking.
he's pressuring Johnny Frost into coming to properly coming to come work for him, there's a thing with Johnny Frost's wife, and he puts her in a car, and then the next panel is Joker getting out of the car, putting his pants back on.
So they have that shootout right there, and she's the only one left standing out of all the bad guys. And Joker says, "Johnny, Johnny, get your lady." Flip, page turn, boom. She's in the back seat, not having a good time, and Joker's getting out of the car, pulling his pants off.
Oh, I didn't realize his pants was like. Oh, fuck.
There's
That's
actually two
fucked up,
frames
dude.
of him adjusting his
Yeah,
pants.
it's
I didn't
gross.
Two frames of
realize
her.
that.
Very.
Oh,
very
no
upset.
wonder like Johnny's even way more fucked because he just like let his girl.
Yeah, because like, what choice does he
Fuck
have?
you,
If he does
Johnny.
anything, they're both going to die. If he
Yep.
does anything, so
I'd rather die.
I don't disagree, but like, this Joker is nasty.
Yeah. He's not gonna just kill you. He's gonna torture you.
He's going to torture you and the people you love, and then leave them alive.
So it's commonly known among
Oh,
my
that makes me
friends,
even hate this book
but
more.
commonly known among my friends, but not a popular opinion. I was not a fan of the Dark Knight's take on the Joker.
See, I
And-
don't see anything in common with these two, because
This-
this is a Joker who literally has no plan. He's just doing shit.
That's literally the Dark Knight's Joker.
No, that Joker is the point, is he looks like he has no plan, but he
He's an
always has a
anarchist.
plan. He's an actual anarchist,
Yes.
not I believe in anarchy.
No, he's an
an
actual-
anarchist.
yes.
He has a plan.
He's trying to show
It's
you
all
that
going
man
according to his plan.
inherently is bad.
Yeah,
to
Joker's
Batman.
not bouncing around going, ooh, well, this is a coincidence. He's making it a coincidence in The Dark Knight.
He's just showing all of
This
them that they're-
Joker is literally an addict who just does drugs and cries on Harley Quinn's lap because he's dead inside
Yeah.
and does all sorts of nasty things. This Joker has no plan.
They're both really nasty though. Like they're
No.
they're pretty similar.
Not really, dude. This guy's like actual
This one's
nasty.
nastier. Like the page I'm looking at now, where he just goes in to somebody's house and
Just-
randomly kills a couple
Exactly,
in their
that's
bed.
random.
Like
That's random as
This is
fuck.
all random. He doesn't. He's
it's
barely thinking one
gross.
step ahead.
Yeah.
He spends a quarter of the book like stoned out of his mind.
It's not an enjoyable read, and that's for sure.
I would agree with that, but I think it's at least for me, it's in that area of gross, but I can still enjoy it, and it's meant to be a very rough read.
Right, I get that.
But I'm also one of the people that kind of enjoys those things, so that's certainly an understandable. This is just a bit too much,
yeah.
but it doesn't bother me as much. I must say the writing I thought was pretty good, because it's not entirely done by Lee Bermejo. This is written by Brian Azzarello, who's a phenomenal writer. But I thought the writing was good, but most specifically, this deluxe edition, which
You keep padding.
it's super nice. Jacob has the DC
The simp version.
so there's three versions. There's like three main printings of this book. There's the original trade paperback, and then there's somewhat recently they relabeled a black label book.
Yep.
And then there's the hardcover deluxe edition, which is also a black label book, which just came out like 2 or 3 months, maybe 2 months ago.
I was
what I
gonna
love
ask
about
what the
this
difference
comic?
And this is the one that I bought. I originally had one of
The simp copy.
the OG copy, and then I bought this one because the cover art is amazing. It's so good.
You know what? I loved the comic that was at the very end of this.
Yes.
Like the cartoony one.
Yeah, that was
That
kinda
was
fun.
so like.
The deluxe edition I thought was actually worth the additional money. It was like $35. I bought it at our local Jetpack store, our local comic book store. Jetpack. There we go. I can.
Yeah, we have a jetpack store.
Yes.
That was the
That was the original cover. Yeah.
For the longest
The
time.
alternate
And
covers
it's
in the
freaking
back are
disgusting.
so good.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's
That's
on
disgusting.
the back of the deluxe edition. That poster is part of the back cover.
That one?
No, not that. No, the one you were just pointing at, that was the original cover, is on
Right.
the back of the deluxe edition. The backpack. There you go.
Yeah.
I just really like it. I don't know why. I like the dimensions. I like the sleeve. I don't usually talk about physical books being nice, but that one is just a really nice physical book.
I liked the Riddler. I liked how he liked cars.
That was
like
honest.
His things was like cars.
That was so weird. I don't have a strong opinion, but it's so out of left field.
I like how all these like villains are like actual like lunatics. They don't really have plans. They're all just super villain mobsters.
I like that Croc obviously has a skin condition. Instead of
yeah.
being a big old alligator man, it's
Yeah.
like, this is a big dude with some sharpened teeth. but he has a skin condition, and it's obvious that like he's not actually an alligator or a crocodile.
So there seems to be an art change near the end of the book. Like right there, that frame is different from like that.
Right here.
Yeah.
There too.
Yeah. I did notice that, and I have no idea why that happened.
And then it also goes from like colorful for the most part, like it's pretty pale, but there's still a bunch of colors.
It goes to more of a
fight scene
it's
is
a monochrome,
mostly black and white.
Yeah, I think that part I felt was well done because it pushes it back into the. Because Batman doesn't show up in Joker until right at the end.
Right.
Yeah,
the last three.
That pissed me off.
I love that.
That made no sense.
It makes it an actual Joker book, but it's not even from Joker's perspective because it's from Johnny Frost's perspective.
But like, how does Batman not like catch him at like?
Because he's been out for like 2 days and he hasn't done anything yet. Batman can be preoccupied. Yeah, I mean usually he gets him right as soon as he walks out the damn gate. But it's it's not like it's a long period of time, and then he confronts him right off the bat. No pun intended. And then right at the end of the book, it shifts from the color and somewhat just saturated, but like it switches from that colorful aesthetic to the basically just monochrome and red.
Yeah.
And it I don't know, it made it more impactful.
If anything, the blood looks kind of weird. I mean, I like that
I felt weird.
I like the blood is colored, but it just looks like a weird splatter.
It's one. Yeah, it's a weird splatter, like, but also it's just one color. There's no shading in it.
Yeah.
I thought that was a little weird, but like I understand the artistic choice.
I like the shift to the monochrome with.
I like the
blood.
general monochrome look more than the colorful look.
Right.
I understood why he wanted to use the colorful look, so it's kind of a Joker's POV, like drug-induced psychosis, running around like a madman. Everything's gross and over or really undersaturated.
Right.
I think this is also the only version where Joker does drugs. I might be wrong on that. Or like that's obviously a driving force behind him. There's probably other versions that have like done something, but it's not like part of what they do is like I'm a crackhead.
Right.
And I think this is the only crackhead Joker. Might be wrong.
I always appreciate at the end of comic books when they have the black and white copies of pages in the book. And I really do like the idea of DC's noir books, but sometimes it's just not done well. Thank you very much, Dark Victory.
Yeah, that one is super rough.
But
second podcast talking about it. Isn't we gonna make this another running joke?
That's my favorite page of the whole book right there. When
I'm
he's walking out of Arkham Asylum in black and white.
Yes.
So
I'm still on that whole like Johnny's girl thing. Like that's still like
it's really horrifying.
Because I mean it's totally different for me because like I didn't realize that until he just said that now. Because
it recontextualizes.
Because I was reading it. I just read it again, and he's like, drive her wherever, give her some money. How much? Croc asks. Whatever it was worth, Joker says. That makes us even. No, and he's saying that to Johnny because like he saved his girl. That's
so disgusting.
That's fucking awful.
Yeah, because usually I think the goal in this universe is to give us more conflicted feelings about Joker. Because usually he's at least a little funny. We enjoy watching him, even if obviously we don't agree with what Joker does.
Well, yeah,
but you enjoy watching
him. Yeah.
This one, you also see him like emotionally vulnerable. He's literally crying on like Harley Quinn is a stripper in this universe.
Yep.
Like he's just crying on her lap. She doesn't even talk.
She's not just a stripper.
No.
But like she started out as a stripper.
Right.
She's a stripper.
It's an interesting take on that, which you can argue is problematic, but that's a whole other discussion. But like, you can see him be more vulnerable, but also he does a butt ton of drugs and literally just like, rape somebody. That's well past anything remotely defensible. Like, you can't do it. So I think that was kind of the goal. Not to go, ooh, shock factor, but a little bit of that, like, make you question why we even like watching this character.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, it's also a different take on the Joker. Like my favorite version is the B-Test version where he just wants to take over the world and be the bad guy and all those things. Like, I'm simple that way, and I think that's what I'm going for when I'm comparing this to The Dark Knight, where it's trying to make him a real life person,
right,
with psychosis and whatever the frig else. Like, it's trying to show how horrifying the character could be if you made him a real life person. So that's kind of why I don't.
That's fair.
Really appreciate either version of it.
Fair enough. I definitely don't sit in that viewpoint, but I do get it.
I don't know who my favorite Joker is. I don't think I have one.
I don't either. I mean, aside from Mark Hamill, no duh. That's not a question.
I mean, as a voice, I think he's the best best Joker voice because it makes me feel good. But like, if we're really gonna go down to like what Joker is, I feel like he's in reality nasty. Like we shouldn't
be relating to him. That's why I really like the Scott Snyder version in the New 52. Is he's despicable. There's like a little bit of like I kind of enjoy watching this, but it's like this dude is freaking nuts.
Not to mention, all right. So somebody told me about somebody else that they were working with, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we dressed up as Joker and Harley for Halloween." She took a selfie saying, "Oh, he's my Joker." And it's like, "Oh, please stop!
Stop perpetuating that." No, there is no comic book. There is no comic book that actually says that that's a good thing.
Right?
Ever. Even the new one of the current ongoing DC Black Label books, which is Joker Harley Criminal Sanity.
Ooh. It's
a romance book. But it's obviously insane.
Right.
And same thing with Harleen. It's like, oh, I could get the... Oh, gosh, this is horrifying.
Right.
But she's already fallen into it, and she can't really get out of it. Yeah, no, gosh, that's so gross. See,
the only good Joker-Harley relationship was White Knight.
Yes.
That's the only good one.
But it was still mostly one-sided.
Well...
See, because that brings in the whole new narrative.
Good.
Because he's one of the few Jokers that has another personality.
Yep.
Right.
So
that's why I'm
not
saying
even comparing apples to apples.
Yeah, it's not really.
But it would be the only case to make that argument.
Yep.
It would be, and that's still closer to like BTAS. Even that one is still, at minimum, negligence and slight emotional abuse.
Right.
But it's still
at minimum he's the 50s.
Yes, that's probably a good way to put BTAS Joker. He's good old 50s sexism.
Yeah, the typical 50s family.
So big, long section. We're going to talk about Batman Damned.
So I have 6 points on this book, and I'm the one that...
Can I do the outline? Because I think
talk.
I might be the only one who understands the book.
I understand the book. It's stupid.
No,
wow.
You're stupid.
No, I loved it, but like, I'm so f***ing annoyed with Batman feeling bad for Joker.
All right, we need an outline.
Okay, so it picks up at the end of Joker.
Kind of, and I want to argue that.
Yes and no, which is the point, is it picks up with the fight between Joker and Batman and Johnny Frost on the bridge, and then instead of it being the way it's presented in Joker, it's put from a different perspective of what if it wasn't Johnny Frost that fell into the river, it was actually Joker that fell in the river.
That's what I needed.
Because in the end of Joker, Joker kills Johnny Frost because it's funny. Because duh, he's just waiting to kill him because it's funny. So it's more like, what if it was a slightly different angle, or like how is it that Batman looked at it? And then in Batman Damned, Joker stabs Batman, and then Batman thinks that he's the one who fell in the river.
So I want to explain this real quick. So Johnny gets Frost. Frost dead.
Yeah, there you go.
Falls to the ground. Batman and Joker are fighting. Johnny Frost crawls to the wall as they're still fighting, and then Johnny starts climbing up the wall. He's peeking over. He's looking over more, and then, like, from here you can see Batman and Joker are back several feet away from the wall, and then somebody falls. So that was one of my notes, was that Johnny's the one that jumped. It's so clear.
Yeah.
So I was trying to read that. I read the whole thing one night, and I was like, it was late, and I think I was trying to get through it because I felt so disgusted about the book.
Yeah.
Like that was the first one. I'm like, wow, it's the first one I'm reading of this series. Ugh.
Bit oof.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, Joker died. Batman doesn't know who killed Joker. He doesn't know what happened on that bridge. He has partial amnesia. Batman is on like the brink of his life. He wakes up in an ambulance and gets out of the ambulance and stuff. And then it's basically him going on it's a mystery book about who killed Joker and like what the hell happened.
Yeah, no, I mean,
so
I'm
Batman goes on a quest. He bumps into Constantine, who is like your Constantine in this book is phenomenal.
Oh yeah,
he is arguably like a co-lead.
He's like actual original.
Yes. he's a
Constantine.
prick.
Yeah, original sins prick.
Yeah. And then he meets up with Deadman and Swamp Thing, and Enchantress is a really big part of this book.
I loved that. I loved that part of it.
So end result is it's Batman going more accurately. So I just gave it like a physical description. It's a mystery book. It's actually Batman going on a journey of self-discovery because it's metaphysical. Because Batman is the one who is actually dying. Like, Batman is actually dead. Ish. It's all debatable. It's a very loosey-goosey book. It's supposed to be, you can make an argument 10 different ways.
Okay.
So it's a story about Batman understanding his relationship with control.
Mm-hmm.
That is the theme of this book, is control.
Where the trauma started. I loved how, like, there was actual previous trauma before
Before the Waynes died, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows.
So, okay, this makes sense. So, this actually goes with this mental disorder. So, the mental disorder is if you go through enough trauma in one period of time, you can lose empathy and sympathy for anyone. Like, you don't care and you can't, like, understand emotions correctly.
Because trauma is literally like stopping the flow of your life. So when you stop the flow enough times.
And what it is a mental disorder that is uncurable. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Thank you for cutting me off.
Sorry, we have like the same brain. So it's Batman like going through this journey of understanding where he came from, not just like him, but how all of his trauma has affected him, what actually happened the night his parents died.
Oh yeah, there's a face. I saw that.
Yeah. So
it's cool.
The weird part of the book where it gets really weird is Enchantress. Is you could go with the route of Enchantress doesn't actually exist and she never existed. And she is entirely like a condensement of all of his feelings. Like, he is giving himself...
Yeah, as a way to rationalize his emotions.
Love how disgustingly creepy she is in this book.
Yeah, me too.
Like, Colin, I'm gonna bring up something you don't want me to bring up. You know that thing that happens in this house?
Oh, I haven't thought about that in months.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Anyways, Colin has had a hallucination that we've conversed about, and it reminded me of that in very many ways. That's sort of a... Yeah, it's gross and creepy, and now my skin is...
You're right in the place where she runs to.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean by this book. This book was disgusting for me to read, and I loved it. So it's like, did Enchantress actually exist? So when he goes back with Constantine to kill her, is he actually killing a real person or a real monster or whatever? Or is he metaphysically killing his own trauma and, like, putting it to rest in the past? It's just... You are so welcome, buddy!
You have to turn every light on now. Shut everything.
Dude, you're the one who told me about the nuns turning their heads around right in front of us in the middle of the night.
Yeah, well, I know... Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That was, like, a really...
It's like, yeah, they're, like, right at the foot of the bed, their heads are turning around, I'm like...
Yeah.
Then I come in and sleep behind you in this bed.
Alright, so the end of chapter 1, I don't understand when Batman goes into the church or whatever, and there's a little thing where a minister, a rabbi, and a priest were simultaneously abducted a few minutes ago, and one of the crucifixes is painted so that it looks like Joker's hanging from a bloody cross.
Yep.
And it's like, it's not explained any further than that. I don't understand that part.
That's what I mean. That's the, that's part of the foreshadowing of, like, who's actually dead. It's meant for you to question what is going on.
Because there's 3 people and there's 3 of them on the bridge.
Right.
So
even though this book
back
barely
for a minute.
references Johnny Frost
Who
at
was
all.
it? What was the name?
Minister, rabbi, and priest.
Yeah, minister, rabbi, and priest.
Which, yeah, it's meant
like
to
the
make
same
you...
thing.
Yeah. it's meant to make you question what's going on. Like Batman is currently doing, he doesn't know that he's dead. Hence why Constantine is like the only one who's talking to him, and why Deadman's following him around. And
I love Deadman.
Deadman's great. So that sort of feeling, that like unsettling, does he even... It just like questioning his own existence. I like the I don't even want to say subtle, because it's not necessarily subtle, but it's constantly foreshadowing this. Every little detail in the background is telling you the same thing, and I love it.
I loved. Sorry to cut you off, but
No.
I loved the scene where his dad leaves the manor, and Bruce is just like doesn't understand his emotions still, because he's a kid. No kid understands their emotions, and he goes in and he goes into the house because he's looking for his mom, and he's trying to get rid of like their pain, and in his child mind, the best way to get rid of the pain is to kill his mom, because he saw his mom yelling at his dad.
Yeah, so like what you do when you're a child, you immediately take sides.
Mm-hmm.
And he puts a cap gun up to his mother's head,
Yep.
which freaks her the hell out.
She turns and she's crying, and
Yeah.
he sees her and he's like...
He immediately is like, oh crap, no. But like that, I like that idea of like, yeah, he was already screwed up.
Yeah.
This kid already had problems.
That's what happened to him. It wasn't just his parents dying and being murdered in front of him. It was his parents were having a failed marriage. His parents didn't take enough time to like console him about his emotions, because they were thinking about each other's marriage.
So he leaned into this seductress little demon thing, followed him around. I love that concept. It stuck with me so much.
Yep. Mommy issues.
Yes.
He has major mommy issues.
I like
Martha.
the ghost coming up out of the water when he's killing Harley.
Yeah,
in
I
that
liked that.
final shot.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
that's what I mean when it's like, is she really a thing? Is she controlling him, or is that just us like getting a representation of it? And I just love the way that Enchantress like ages with him. That's something I didn't notice until my second read through. Is when she's younger, it's not like, ooh, she's seductive and it's like mommy. It's like just another kid.
Is it?
Ish.
Can I see?
It depends on where. When
Right.
it's on the playground, she's old, like a teenager-ish.
Right.
And then when she's in the manor, she's a kid.
All right,
And then
this
later, she's an adult.
This is making more sense to me now.
There you go.
You're
Jacob is very much so he's a literal person, so
Yeah, I
this
took
sort of
it
stuff is confusing.
freaking literally
Yeah.
the whole way, and even reading it twice, I'm like, I don't get it. I got more the
Oh,
second
yeah,
time.
she does look
but-
like a kid or a teenager.
Yeah,
in
Enchantress's
the park.
age fluctuates.
So there's a shot where Bruce is dead in the alley with his parents, and Enchantress is over them.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if that meant that Bruce really died in the alley, and Batman has been like a ghost of vengeance for Gotham.
That's the general. I
That's
think that's
cool.
I think
But-
that's the interpretation I got out of it. I think that's what kind of most people think, whether or not they know that. Like, Bruce Wayne is kind of dead.
But you were just saying that Enchantress was a made-up.
But is she?
Whoa, that's such a weird concept, because I thought about that, because like people actually have encounters with him. It's like how Lobster Johnson. I'm sorry, I can't not talk about Hellboy. There's just so much that works. Anyway, it's just a ghost that like has this like immense power, because he's unfinished business, such unfinished business, and that's why he can't like deal with his emotions. It's still just a f***ing kid. The ghost. He's still a kid that's a ghost, but he's just a bat.
Yeah.
But that theory,
Whoa, that's.
that theory doesn't make sense though, because then how did he die as a ghost of vengeance on the bridge? And why is he being damned as a ghost?
See, that's the thing, is
Ghost
the
of
like the
Vengeance.
title of the book isn't anybody else damning him. It's just him damning himself. It's
Well,
Batman doing the thing he always does and being like, I can't kill people, and then he thinks he kills Joker, so he's damning himself. It's all
Yeah, she does get wicked old.
self-guilt.
So the stranger in the morgue that he's been chasing through the whole book, I caught that the second time. It was the same stranger.
Yeah.
I'm a little thick. So what is the stranger supposed to be a representation of? His
I
conscience?
I think there's a lot of arguments for that one, and that's one of the parts I'm more loose on. It's like there's always parts where it's like it doesn't really matter. It's the fact is that there is a question, Like, it's like, hey, well, he can't really be a ghost because he interacts with people, and he can't die if he's not real. But it's the fact that it makes you question it, like he is. And some of the stuff that I got the most attached to was near the beginning of the book when he goes into the cave and he strips down, which is an infamous scene because of Batwang, which I actually thought was actually useful in this way. Neither of our books you can physically see the Wang because they immediately censored it from all collected editions. But the point of him being so like openly vulnerable with Alfred and just being like, yeah, my dick's out, nobody gives a crap. And he's just, he doesn't even think about it. He's like, I'm putting on a new suit. I'm taking off this one. I'm putting on something else. He doesn't think about, hey, I'm naked right now.
Like a child would.
Exactly. And then when he goes up to the bat suit, and the bat suit, at least to his perspective, just reaches out, and he just freaking freaks out.
Yep.
This 2-page thing right here, it's not a spread, but like just the bat suit, the arm dropping out, and he just curls up on the ball. He curls up on the floor at the feet of the bat suit like a baby. That was when I knew I was gonna like this book. Like right there. It's just it's a small-ish moment, but it's pointed. It's like he's still a child. Most of us don't do that. Sometimes. But like most of us don't curl up in a ball and cry when we're freaked out.
So I was also wondering, back on the Stranger, like, I think it's through the whole book. It might just be the chapter 3. Constantine is referring to the Almighty all the time.
Right.
So, like, right as Batman's walking into the morgue, Constantine says, do take care what you say to its Almighty itself. So I was wondering if that's supposed to be God or something like it.
God?
I'm very confident in this universe there is no God.
Okay.
I believe,
or some almighty whatever.
I believe that the something I'm just realizing now. Go to the page in the morgue with him right there.
Yep.
Look at the shadowing on those two faces. The shadow of his face versus the stranger's face.
Supposed to be the bat.
He is the stranger. It's just him. Because the shadowing is reversed. So his face fits in where that gap is. And same thing with the eye. He is the stranger. He is the one who's damning himself to hell.
Like the Billy Joel song.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep. It's not him going, it's not anybody else.
Sense that there's no God in this universe because of how it is.
I mean, but is this any more than ours? Really?
Wow.
I mean, is it?
This is getting deep.
Yeah.
That's the point of this book, though. But that's how I interpreted it. And same thing, it's like, Batman in the morgue. I think that's the part where it's the easiest to get lost, at least for me. But something I did want to talk about, right after the morgue, when it goes back to the bridge.
Yep.
This Killing Joke homage, where Joker fell in the water, and somehow Joker survived, and he's laughing his ass off, and crawls up on shore, and is just losing his mind.
There's also a Killing Joke reference all the way back in the beginning, page 2. Reminds me of an old joke, something to do with insanity and a beam of light.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That is the Killing Joke. So,
yeah, I think at least some forum boards I went on, it's like that leads to the idea of maybe there's another book coming.
You know how you said that this is like one of the only Jokers that has like a sexual deviancy?
Yeah.
Killing Joke.
See,
Pictures
that's the
of
thing.
Barbara.
But he wasn't, the author and the artist did come out and say he didn't do anything, and he wasn't doing it to get off. He was doing it to screw with Jim.
Yeah.
Even the original version of the Killing Joke that was more explicit, Joker didn't do anything sexual to her. He just, he stripped her and then took photos, which is inherently sexual, but he didn't do anything. That was supposed to be clear, because Joker is, generally speaking, like, asexual. Like, he just doesn't care.
Yeah, he doesn't, except for Batman.
Exactly. He is very, very into Batman.
Yeah.
So, the last... let me see.
Just that's what I mean, like, sorry.
The last thing in the morgue.
Yeah.
When Batman peeks under the sheet and says, I wish he were still alive.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's the Joker.
Yeah. And that's why, next page, Joker is somehow alive after getting beaten the crap out of him and falling that height. That should kill him. He should not be alive.
doesn't
it's
add up
magic.
because he's dead in one page and alive the next. So
It's magic.
the frick.
That's what it's supposed to be. But see, that's the thing is, at least for me, is the question of, so Batman's like, hey, I'm basically switching my soul for the Joker.
Right.
I made a mistake.
Stupid bitch. What mistake?
Oy vey. But he's going, hey, I'm gonna pay my penance, whatever. And then he is the body in the morgue. And Joker's alive. There is no more Batman.
I know, I see that.
Where the hell is this going?
I
Because
wish he
it's-
was still alive. I wish that rapist was still alive that would skin some man. Yeah.
That's
You'd
Batman.
rather have
Batman
him
is.
well,
That's
Batman's
the point.
fucked. But yeah, Batman. Okay, Batman beats the shit out of people.
Yeah. For
Bad
fun.
people.
Yeah, for fun.
Stupid! Batman, you're stupid!
See,
He
that's-
has to be already dead and he's just a spirit. Because that's just child. He's forever child.
See, that's what that's why I like this book. Is something I did want to hit on is sometimes the voiceover from Constantine is a little much. Sometimes it's
Yep.
very heavy-handed and it's a bit too much and can kind of crowd the book. But particularly the bit at the end, it's just, and here we are back where we started, a fall, towards the ending of our story, or perhaps it's just the start of another one. Yeah, it's pretentious as hell. But then, and then the flat line comes back as the ha-has.
Just
which
like
goes
the beginning of the book where the flat line turned into.
Now we need
the
Nightwing
bat.
As Batman.
Oh my gosh, no.
Yeah.
I mean,
I would love
Hey,
I would love a Nightwing in this universe.
if Brian Azzarello has an idea for how to use Robin, because Robin has existed in this universe,
Yep.
the suits are in there, that would be interesting. But
Do we know which Robin is it? Is
I
it?
don't freaking know.
So-
I would assume it's Richard.
It looks like it, because I think you only see one suit. But
They also did share the same suit in the comics.
I mean, yes and no.
So it could just be Jason.
But also, this Batman doesn't seem to be, like, stupidly old. Like, he's definitely 30s, but he doesn't seem to be, like, old.
I need to buy Damn. That's the only one I'm gonna buy.
Swamp Thing is dummy thick.
Dude, okay, so Swamp Thing, I love Swamp Thing, even though, like, I barely read anything about him.
Swamp Thing is great.
Who doesn't love the Green Boy?
See, that's something we need to talk about once he comes back. But, like, yeah, no, she switches age all the time.
Yeah, I
And
realized
then right
that.
before, old-ass bitch. Yeah, it's like, what the is going on here?
So, yeah, she and herself is just a metaphor for, like, Batman. It's just trying to, like...
So, she could be mysterious, because Constantine can see it. But,
Oh.
because Constantine's there the whole time. He brings
Oh, yeah, he
Bruce
can
back
see her.
into the past
But
to kill her.
But who... Wait, say that again. Say that whole sentence again.
Constantine takes Bruce into the past to kill Enchantress. That happens in the end of the book.
He does?
Right here. Oh god, that.
Whoa, I don't remember that.
Yeah, no,
Wait,
right
let me
here in the alley. Bada bing, bada boom. And John Constantine shoots Bruce Wayne in the head.
Go back. I think I skipped this page by accident.
Yeah. Oh, the legs. Ugh. This is a horror book through and through. And if we weren't doing our book in Mike Mignola-esque style, this is like the other style I would have done.
What killed them in this universe then?
It's just a mugger. There is no other context you need. It is the alley. There is nothing to suggest that there was anything else.
Why does he kill young Bruce?
Because he has to stop Bruce from going with her. See, he gets rid of her, and thusly he kills Bruce.
How?
Because she is him. Because she doesn't really exist. Or does she? Because she is just a manifestation of parts of him that he can't comprehend. His own feelings, his own just want to get control. And then Constantine fucking shoots her in the head.
I really
So
need
they're all
book 3 to be answers instead of. 'cause
See,
this
but the thing
whole
is
book
there
seems to be asking questions?
It's all questions. But, like, see, that's the thing is there gonna be another book? Yeah.
So how the book starts is how it ends too.
Which isn't that kind of how every Batman story is?
Yeah, kind of.
For the most part, it's cyclical. He doesn't kill Joker. Joker comes back out of Arkham. Joker does bad things again.
Yeah.
Puts him back in Arkham.
Mm-hmm.
You and I are destined to do this forever.
A lot of this.
Oh, remember that comic I sent you? It was a fan-made
that
comic.
was such a good book.
You enjoyed that?
I
Dude,
did.
that f***ed me up. I was like, wow. Oh, he's so lost. It's a fan-made comic, and it's so f***ed.
What was the name of that thing?
I don't know. I can try to find it.
Colin found a very short fan-made Batman and Joker comic.
Where Joker, like, kills Alfred, Commissioner Gordon, and Robin, and he, like, cuts Alfred up and puts him in a box for Batman. And also, he's, like, they're in a blimp, like a Zeppelin, and Joker's, like, singing and dancing with Robin's arm.
Jeez. It is the definition of, like, but they're about to both die. Like, they end up falling off. And the point is, they've been doing this forever. Every time they die, they come back as something else. In some past life, we were husband and wife. In some other life, we were warring kingdoms. It's gonna happen again. And then they die right next to each other, holding hands. It's like, oh, this is so on point and so disturbing. Man, you gotta find the name of that book. I want to read it again.
All right, so in closing,
Batman Damned is really f***ed, and I love it.
but it's an enjoyable,
Yes.
not
But
like
it's
the
so
Joker
gross.
where it's unenjoyable.
Yes. But also, it's so gross.
Yeah. So we would, at this part of the show, we would normally read any mail that we had received or comments or.
Yeah, but we don't have
Facebook.
any yet.
So send
please.
anything, even if it's, like, posts. Just
If
send
you
us
have-
As
anything.
we've said before, please send us your hate mail. We would love to hear your hate.
Yeah, if you have any questions or something for us to discuss, send us an email at dimecomicbros@gmail.com. You know, give this video a thumbs up, please.
And I know last week we teased about big happenings coming. We collected and pooled our funding together this week, and hopefully next week we will be announcing those big happenings, but it's still a secret right now.
Yeah.
But the little hint I can give you tonight, because it is now 9:30 at night, which is an hour or two past my bedtime, is that we are gonna start going weekly with this show. So stay tuned, and thank you for listening. Unless you have other things to say. Nothing else?
No, not really. Let me get through my news, man.
What?
Anywho.
I like her.
Way better.
I like the mean chicks.
Yeah, we know.
So you're saying you like Catwoman when she has the whip out?
Yeah, dude. I've always liked Catwoman way more than any of the other.
We all know Batman is a bottom and a sub. He likes leather.
Not a sub.
Yeah,
Shut the
he is.
fuck up.
Gosh,
Batman's a sub.
God, he is not. That's disgusting. He's not a sub. He's a compromiser. Okay? He compromises. It's called a relationship, man.
Alright.
Colin, do you need to talk about this?
No, I don't need to talk about it.
It's gonna be a good 3-minute section right there. You gotta cut.
Oh yeah.
Hi.
Holy don't do that. You're gonna blow my system. Actually, anytime that you make a huge
Yeah.
it gets pretty bad.
That's why I try not to do that.
How does this sound? How does this sound?
What are you doing?
Gonna rip ass.
Sit your ass down so I can finish talking about the news.
I got ADHD. I can't.
I
do this
know.
shit.
We're almost done with the news.
That woman.
I
Can you
think.
please say something politically correct in this episode? So
No.
Colin, what are you doing? Colin just made a bra out of his t-shirt for some reason. I gotta eat my Cheez-Its, man.
Understand.
They're extra toasty. You got the good Cheez-Its.